would like to apply, adding that for many working adults, this arrangement was the only way to ensure their children were adequately belittled and ignored. In other news, Busch Gardens unveils their new 9,600-mile-long endurance coaster. A documentary provides a scathing indictment of the director's filmmaking skills, and a man brings his son into the office to see where dad is emasculated.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live. You're invited to join us here. The toll-free number for you, 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm, and that is where you can sound almost like you're sitting here in the studio with us tonight. And with you tonight, it is Ian.
The nobody formerly known as Rich Paul.
And just Vincent.
Vincent joining us from his show, Questioning Authority, which you can listen to and watch on LRN.FM on Saturday nights. And you're back tomorrow night for that. You were off last week, right?
Yes, I'm very excited to be back.
Good. All right, so I know you had something tonight, Vincent, about Mark Zuckerberg. This is the CEO of Facebook, one of the largest technology companies on the face of the planet right now. Of course, this guy, pretty much whenever he opens his mouth, he makes news. And he was actually in the news within the last 24 hours for a different reason. You've got something about him possibly going to jail due to some privacy law. But I've got a story about him giving an address recently at Georgetown University. I don't know if you guys heard about this.
Oh, yeah. It was about freedom of speech, but he didn't take any questions from the press.
Yeah, that's what I heard. And so apparently he spoke on the the issue of free speech. And there's been headlines in all kinds of places like the New York Times. And
I assume he came out in opposition to it?
No.
Wow.
No, he didn't.
Actions don't always match words.
Yeah, and I mean, I didn't actually watch the speech, but at least based on what it is that the media has been saying about it, and I can't pull up a lot of the mainstream stories about it because the New York Times and the Washington Post are now firmly behind a paywall.
Was it democracy dies in darkness goes to democracy dies behind a paywall?
Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg, this according to Axios.com, cast himself and his company as champions of free speech. In a 45-minute talk at Georgetown University on Thursday, he said, quote, I believe we have two responsibilities: to remove content when it could cause real danger as effectively as we can, and to fight to uphold as wide a definition of freedom of expression as possible, and not allow the definition of what is considered dangerous to expand beyond what is absolutely necessary. So, like, dangerous speech would be threats, right? Like threats of violence, obviously.
Well, not to him. Dangerous speech to him is, if you take his platform as a concrete implementation of his values, dangerous speech to him is anything offensive, anything that might hurt somebody's feelings, anything that might lead to political conclusions that he doesn't like.
Well, it sounds like he's trying to walk that back. It sounds like he's...
Okay, well, walk it back in the code, because when the code and the documentation don't match, the documentation is a lie.
You've been banned from Facebook, right? Nobody?
Repeatedly. I'm doing life on the installment plan in Facebook jail.
Are you currently banned at the moment?
No.
Okay.
Actually, last night I was like semi-banned, but I seem to be fixed. Like, they'll do things like you can't comment on things, but you can
send
still
a message.
post.
You can send a private message or something like that, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So, I go in and out. They're also but actually last night's problem may have been because they got very confused when I tried to change my name to Nobody.
Oh.
I uploaded my driver's license and all that, and they were just like, yeah, no.
Zuckerberg says, quote, "I believe people should decide what is credible, not tech companies. When it's not absolutely clear what to do, we should err on the side of free expression." Unquote.
Huh.
Well, he believes people should make the choice, his people, right? Because Facebook has a team of people that just goes through all the things that are reported as fake news, and they make the arbitrary decision as to what is, quote, real.
They were doing that.
Exactly, and they do it based on sites like Snopes .com. Well, Snopes.com is
run by
a
lefties.
Democratic mouthpiece.
It's a good site. Like, in a lot of cases, they do some good research. There's no doubt about
Well,
it.
I mean,
in some cases they do.
They're masters at equivocation, where people don't read past a headline or the subhead or the first paragraph. So what Snopes would do is they would say this is mixed true, so half of it's true, half of it's false, and then you read a few paragraphs in, and then it turns out that it's actually true. So it's I do not consider it a good source to go off of.
I use it when they're right because leftists believe it, but I don't take it as an authority.
So, I mean, if you take these quotes at face value, and I guess there's no real reason to do that given the past incidents where they've cracked down on people like buddy, and others.
Yeah. See, I don't take things at face value. I take them at book value.
Indeed. But according to them, they are, maybe they're going to change their policy. It's not going to bring me back. I'm certainly not going to go back to the platform, even if they really did implement some sort of non-biased, we're only going to crack down on threats kind of policy and leave people's political opinions alone. Because that's certainly what has been the flashpoint for a lot of controversy, is the allegation that Facebook and their enforcers, who may or may not work for Facebook, they may work for like a contractor or whatever. They might not work directly as employees for Facebook. That whoever they've had as contractors ostensibly has been cracking down against more people on the right than they have on the left, and we've seen that on Twitter, for instance, as well. And if they are going to start playing more fairly and start leaving people alone, I think that's good. But again, only time will actually tell, not the statements of the CEO standing on a stage.
Absolutely. And the thing is, when you have somebody determining truth for you, it's, what they see as true is their worldview.
That's right.
So they're imposing their worldview on you. And really, censorship isn't the worst thing Facebook does. The worst thing Facebook does is their algorithm. The fact that there's an algorithm somewhere else that's prioritizing your input for you.
Or deprioritizing.
Well, exactly. That's controlling what you see and the order in which you see it should be terrifying, because they can change your thinking. By doing that, they can change the kind of day you're having. There's all kinds of ways that they can mess with you, and you will never know they're doing it.
Absolutely. It reminds me of a former high-up employee who was giving some sort of speech, and he was talking about
from
how
Facebook?
they would... Yes, from Facebook. He's talking about how they would manipulate people's emotions, make people feel isolated on one day, make them feel connected on the next. I mean,
they did a whole research project on that that they've admitted to.
Without the consent of the participants. They were researching people just because they could.
And I've even seen it with myself, where I used to just post photography pictures and I'd get all sorts of likes and people would see it, and then I started uploading clips of my show, and then even people who are admitted fans of my show, just zero interaction, no one ever saw it. It's and I mean, if I didn't know any better, I would have sent me into a huge depression, thinking, oh, well, no one likes this, I might as well stop.
Yeah, one thing you can do is make a banal post and then make the first comment what you really want to see. And sometimes you'll get a lot more traction that way.
Zuckerberg also said in his speech, quote, "Focusing on authenticity and verifying accounts is a much better solution than an ever-expanding definition of what is and is not harmful content." So basically saying, if we have identified people rather than anonymous people, that cleans up a lot of the nasty speech. And I think that that's generally true about the internet, is, if people hide behind their computer screens and they're not identifiable in any way, they are more likely to be particularly nasty to others on the internet.
Well, that's true, but they're also more likely to say things that might irritate the government. They're more likely to say things that might irritate their employers
because they can't be tracked.
Exactly. Or at least there's some protection. So I would rather just leave anonymous speech out there, and if you don't want to see it, then block it.
Regarding, let's see here. This is from, by the way, Axios.com. After Facebook ran ads from President Trump's campaign. There's more coming up.
Transactions happen in seconds with fewer fees. While other altcoins are languishing, the Divi price has risen substantially against BTC. Now's the time to make a switch to Divi or make your start with cryptocurrency with Divi. Visit DiviProject.org. Divi is crypto made easy. Plus one-click masternodes. DiviProject.org. Again, DiviProject.org.
Warning, this is a privacy alert. You are being spied on right now as I speak by your phone. If you want this to stop, visit GoDarkBags.com and we'll show you how elite military units protect themselves and how you can too. GoDark Bags are lab tested and guaranteed for life. Visit GoDarkBags.com now and enter discount code FTL to save 15%. That's GoDarkBags.com. Discount code FTL. Your privacy depends on it. End transmission.
And not to mention the shedding, I would vacuum the carpet 3 times a week. Frodo was scratching all night long, bouncing on the side of the bed, keeping me awake the whole entire night from all the scratching and chewing. It kind of makes you neurotic.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy?
Mounds and mounds of fur all over the place.
Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
If you want the dog to be healthy, you got to feed it something healthy.
Dinovite is nutrition.
The omega-3 fatty acids.
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa.
Our vitamins and enzymes and nutrients cooked out of most commercial dog foods.
He gobbles it up. He's not up all night scratching. His shedding is minimal, and it is such a pleasure to have my calm, relaxed, non-shedding puppy back. And I have to thank Dinovite for that.
Don't let your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy.
Come to Dinovite for help.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000. DINOVITE.com.
I got my first Barbie when I was 37 years old. And even when I was younger, I knew I didn't need to look like her to feel good about myself. And just because Barbie has a size 0 waist and wears dark makeup, does that mean that's the only way to be beautiful? I mean, what kind of message does that send to men like me? I always remember that this is just a silly toy, and it shouldn't change the way I look at myself. And if anyone has a problem with me being myself, well, then they're probably not really my friends. I also don't just play with Barbies. I play with Legos and Mega Bloks, because while I definitely like Barbies, I like building things too, and I'm actually really, really good at it. My name is Tim Mortensen. I'm 43 years old, and I know that I don't need to be defined by Barbie. I can be whoever I want to be.
This is the Onion News Network.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. You can dial toll-free here. Bring up whatever's on your mind. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And we have the Discord call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. Plus, Free Talk Live brought to you by Edge Wallet, the best wallet out there for using and spending and holding, and exchanging, and buying and selling cryptocurrency. It's Edge. I use it more often than any other wallet. I used it today, as a matter of fact, to buy lunch. We had our crypto meetup at a local food truck that sells some barbecue here in town, and it was great. Edge, of course, makes it easy. You go to edge.app to learn more about Edge Wallet. They support Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin, as well as Dash, Ethereum, various tokens, Monero, Ripple, Stellar, and also now Ravencoin, and more. You can go to edge.app to learn more about how you can secure your freedom with Edge Wallet, or just go right to your iOS or Android app store and download Edge Wallet to get started today. With you in the studio tonight, by the way, it's Ian. Oops, sorry, nobody. Tried that again.
Nobody.
There we go.
Zucked me.
Dang.
And Vincent.
I zucked you, by the way. I kind of cut that off. That was what you were saying.
Yes, it's true. You zucked me again.
Yeah, didn't mean to. So we were talking about Mark Zuckerberg's statements in front of Georgetown University, where he's now all of a sudden positioning Facebook as a defender of freedom of speech. And nobody, you laugh because you've been banned from their platform on a number of occasions, temporary bans. They keep letting you back in. And I remember back when I had a Facebook account, it's now been almost 2 years since I've been off of there. They banned us once, like everybody who was a host on Free Talk Live, we got banned one time for like I don't know if it was a 30-day or whatever it was. It was a few years ago. We had posted a link to another Facebook group.
Uh-huh.
So it wasn't something that was even off of Facebook. It was a link to a Facebook. I think actually it was a page about the. There's a group of women in a beach town in Australia, and I'm forgetting which town it is right now.
All the towns in Australia are beach towns.
Well, this one they have, I think it was Gold Coast Meter Maids is what they were called. And basically they were essentially the same thing as the Robin Hooders here in Keene that
nice.
Went around and filled parking meters, expired parking meters, saving people from getting parking tickets, except they've been around for decades, and they're hot babes that wear bikinis instead of, you and me. Yeah. So it was a page with attractive women, not naked women, but, in bikinis. And so we shared that on our page. Somebody got offended, reported it to Facebook, and we all got a 30-day ban for that.
Yeah, and they find interesting reasons to ban things. Like I picked the version of Osama bin Laden's dead face that was released by the U.S. government is actually a Photoshop of a picture that was taken of him when he was living.
I remember seeing that.
And so I posted that, a meme showing the two photographs side by side and suggesting that perhaps Photoshop had killed Osama bin Laden. And they took that down for nudity.
Wow. What?
I guess it was the naked truth.
There, yeah, indeed. So a little bit more here from Axios.com on Zuckerberg's speech, where he addressed apparently political advertising, which has been somewhat controversial regarding Facebook.
They refused to advertise the 420 rally last year. I tried to pay them to.
You wanted to
they
give
wouldn't
them money.
Take my money.
Yeah, for something that is just a political protest.
Yeah. Because it's a controversial issue.
Is that what they said?
You can't say anything controversial.
Is that what they actually said to you?
Yes, that's what they said.
After Facebook ran ads from President Trump's campaign that contained false statements about Democratic challenger Joe Biden, the company faced demands that it remove the ads or stop running political ads altogether. Zuckerberg says he's considered but rejected that idea. And he said this, quote, "From a business perspective, the controversy certainly is not worth the very small part of our business that they make up. But political ads can be an important part of voice, especially for local candidates, up-and-coming challengers, and advocacy groups, like the 420 Foundation, that the media may not cover otherwise. That way, they can get their voice into the debate. Banning political ads favors incumbents and whoever the media covers." So he's right.
Yeah.
Like, that's a completely true statement.
Yeah, and yet he bans my ads.
Yeah, and this was within the last month that this happened. I mean, this was 2 months ago, right? Like when you were wanting to not even that, right? Like the 420 Foundation.
It was like February, I think. I was trying to
I thought you were promoting
it was for the April rally.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought you were promoting the more recent 420 that we did in September. I apologize.
No, okay.
Okay, so yeah, back in February. So I guess the claim will be that, well, that's how things were, but now everything's been fixed. So I wonder what would happen if, you tried to run another series of those ads, like just citing Zuckerberg's own statements and try to run some more of the well, I wonder if they would take the Elect Nobody.
That would be interesting. Maybe, if somebody wants to see that happen, there's a gift page at electnobody.com.
Ah, yes.
And although these are not campaign contributions, they're gifts because I don't have a lawyer or an accountant or a way to deal with campaign finance laws. Nonetheless, any gifts that I get in this respect, I will certainly spend on the campaign.
So check that out over at electnobody.com. I, am mildly curious, but not curious enough to want to give Facebook any money. That's for sure. I don't care how effective an advertising platform they are. And I know a lot of local businesses swear by Facebook, and I can't knock it. If a local business owner tells me that they advertise their daily food specials at the Hot Hogs food truck here in town, and it gets people to come up and buy food, citing, hey, I saw you on Facebook. I can't knock the effectiveness of that advertising. I will say this though,
and you are hearing that?
I've heard it from more than one local business in the area. Yeah,
interesting.
And while it may be effective for local businesses, I did not find back when we ran ads on it years ago for Free Talk Live, I did not find it to be effective at all.
Well, maybe they were shadow banning your ads.
Well,
or just intentionally showing them to people who wouldn't be interested.
Could be.
There are ways that you can technically fulfill the contract without giving any benefit to people if you don't like them.
Yeah, I just don't think that somebody is as likely to take the action online that you want them to. Whereas if the action you want them to take is to go buy lunch, well, they may be more enticed to go and do something in real life than they would to do something online. And it seemed, and I don't remember all the details about what they would allow or disallow, but it was almost like Facebook wanted you to advertise your own page on Facebook rather than a link that would take the person off of the website.
Yeah.
So it was almost like that, they were trying to deprioritize or disincentivize people from advertising things that were offline. So we didn't see any kind of spike in podcast downloads or anything like that from advertising on Facebook. So I gave that up. Zuckerberg identified 3 threats to free expression on the horizon. One, he said, is
Facebook,
China.
Twitter, and Google?
No, he claimed China.
Them too, but they're mostly a threat to the Chinese.
That's true. 855-450-FREE, but there are a lot of Chinese folks out there. 855-450-3733. You can bring up whatever you want here, whether you want to talk about free speech. Plus, on the way, you've got something related to Zuckerberg going to jail, possibly. Vincent, you've got a story about that. 855-450-FREE is where you can join us on the radio. It's Free Talk Live.
Do you have a crypto wealth advisor or coach? If so, has your cryptocurrency advisor been investing in technology stocks for over 20 years? Have they left the corporate world and retired? Or are they still trying to make a weekly paycheck? Have they produced 6-figure results for their customers in the past 30 days? And very importantly, are they a member of the Digital Currency Council? Seth Maniscalco is the founder of Crypto Wealth Coach and CryptoWealthCoach.com. Seth invested in his first Roth IRA at 19 years old while living abroad and has been investing in Wall Street and technology for over 20 years. With experience in all the money markets. By comparison, so many of these so-called crypto gurus have barely been alive for 20 years. Seth has not only experienced personal success from his own investments in crypto, he has also helped his clients earn 6- and 7-figure incomes, including helping investors make over $750,000 in EOS in 90 days and 1,225% in only 5.5 months with Chainlink. Seth has help for the small do-it-yourself guy on up to crypto whales. Increase your wealth. Visit CryptoWealthCoach.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Excuse me, is this where I get a license to start a new business?
I wouldn't be hasty. You have to get a license to go out of business, too, you know.
Oh, well, look, I've invented this little anti-gravity machine, see?
Oh, is that why you're walking 2 inches above the floor?
Oh, yes, it's very comfortable. It saves on shoe leather.
Yeah, well, you have to fill out these forms and report to the Human Services Department of Manpower Orientation and register with the Fair Employment Practice Commission, the Wage and Hour Division of the Employment Standards Administration, the State Sales and Income Tax Division, the Internal Revenue Service, and the Social Security Administration of the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare, and, of course, OSHA.
OSHA? I thought that was a little town in Wisconsin.
You'll find out. Say, floating around like that could be dangerous. Have you checked with the Consumer Product Safety Commission?
Well, not yet.
Come to think of it, you actually are flying, aren't you? Look, you need to go over to the Federal Aviation Administration and the Transportation...
It's very hard to get anything done these days if you're in business, but free enterprise built this country. Think what could happen if we don't keep it free. A public service of this station and the Center for the Defense of Free Enterprise, Bellevue, Washington.
We just can't have people floating about unregulated, you know.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
Yep, it's Free Talk Live, and you can join us here. The toll-free number, 855-450-FREE. Mark Zuckerberg saying that Facebook is going to become a stalwart defender of free speech. They're going to completely change how they've been doing business.
Did he say he was going to change policy, or is he just speaking on the in the abstract? Because everything he's said so far has sounded like this is what should be, but there's been no concrete, this is how it will be.
Yeah, it could be a game playing like that. Wordplay. I don't know. But he is, he's sounding different than how he sounded in the past. I mean, this is also a guy who recently, what was it? I think this summer he wrote a blog post about how, he welcomes regulation and wants the government to, regulate social media or whatever. So, I mean, he seems to be of two different mindsets on, these issues. If you want to comment, you are welcome to join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. And if you do love freedom, then you really ought to be planning to go to Anarchapulco coming up in mid-February. Now, it's a fairly lengthy event. In fact, it even goes beyond the 4 days that it's officially scheduled for, because there's these sort of outlying events that happen surrounding it. But you can go to anarchapulco.com and use promo code FTL, get 10% off there. Lots of great big name speakers. Ron Paul is going to be there for the third time in a row.
Wow.
It doesn't get much bigger than Ron Paul, but John McAfee's a pretty big deal as well, and he's going to be there, I believe, for the first time this year. Sherry Peel Jackson, many listeners may remember that name as I believe she was a former IRS agent who turned good. Plenty of other folks like Freeway Rick Ross, Doug Casey, Jeff Berwick, Larkin Rose, Del Bigtree, Jeffrey Tucker, Benny Wills, Paul Rosenberg, Luke Radowski, and Dale Brown, who we've talked about in the past from the Threat Management Center in Detroit. Longtime listeners may remember us discussing the Threat Management Center, which provides people with protection services that are non-governmental. So, you want to hire somebody to drive through your neighborhood once an hour? They'll do it. You want to hire somebody for 24-hour, 7-day-a-week personal protection? They'll do it. You want to go and take training courses on how to protect yourself? They'll do that too. So they offer a big range of options. I'm really interested in talking to him because he's one of those doers. There's a lot of talkers in the freedom movement. This guy, and I don't know how libertarian he is, but at the very least, he created something that a lot of agorist types have been talking about for years. The idea of doing something the government does, doing it better, and out competing them. He does that.
I love that idea, and I had an idea many years ago before the Free State Project. I lived about 20 minutes outside Detroit, and in Detroit you can get houses for $1 from HUD.
You just have to pay the back taxes, right?
No, it's $1. Literally, you pay $1 and you get it because they want people to take these houses.
They just waive the taxes? Because normally you can't buy a house that has back taxes.
I don't know why
taxes.
HUD has these houses, but HUD is not a taxing authority, so they're not taking houses for unpaid taxes. They're probably these are probably houses where HUD underwrote the mortgage and then they were foreclosed. So so there wouldn't be back taxes. This is just an asset on their books that they got to get rid of, and they were dumping them at $1.
Well, why wouldn't there be back taxes? If there was a foreclosure, that means they weren't paying the mortgage. And if the mortgage isn't getting paid, then the taxes certainly aren't getting paid.
Well, if the house reverts to the finance company, and the finance company is on the hook for the mortgage or for the back taxes, if there are back taxes. And
I guess they would
because that's built into your mortgage payment.
That's
also
correct in most cases. Yeah.
So that's really would be the finance company's issue, or in this case, HUD's issue, because HUD is acting as the finance companies. So my understanding was they were literally you could get a home for $1. So I was thinking it would be great to find a neighborhood that had a whole collection of these homes and get like 50 guys with shotguns together and buy 50 houses in the same neighborhood and do a free neighborhood project.
Can you have shotguns in Detroit?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Detroit collapsed before the gun control craze. So it's and actually the Detroit police chief went on the news a few years ago when I was in Michigan and basically said, well, we don't have much budget. We can't protect you that well, so you might want to get a gun.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, we reported on that, and that is there was also a department or one of their sub-departments that was not opening at nighttime. They just weren't going to take calls, basically. They weren't going to. Their front doors were locked. You couldn't actually go to report a crime if it was after like 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock at night. You'd have to come back the next day. And they just that same area was not being served at all. If anybody called in, you weren't going to get an officer to come out to whatever it was that was going on. And so that's why Threat Defense Center built a business. Yeah, because people still want protection.
Well, that's how it was in Watts in California during the 70s, and that's why the Black Panthers started patrolling that neighborhood, because you literally couldn't get a cop there if you wanted one.
So get on out to Acapulco this February 13th through the 16th. Free Talk Live is expecting to be attending this, so we'll look forward to seeing you there. Anarchapulco.com. Use code FTL get 10% off your tickets. So, we can talk about whatever's on your mind. Also, we've got a little bit more here on Mark Zuckerberg, who is trying to make it sound like Facebook is going to be doing a pivot. They're going to change from trying to decide what is offensive and what is not offensive to just kind of letting it fly. Free speech now on Facebook. Maybe it's a desperate attempt to try to bring people back under the fold, because I've heard a lot more people recently talking about how they either have left Facebook or want to leave Facebook. It seems like there's an exodus there.
Yeah, I would say there definitely is. I mean, the only thing that keeps me there is that there's an audience there, and the less my message gets out to the audience and the more it's suppressed by Facebook, the less that counts for. Right. I can have 5,000 Facebook friends, but if none of them see my posts,
what's the value?
Who cares?
Yeah.
And he's trying really hard, I think, Mark Zuckerberg, to, rebuild whatever image, because he's having dinner with both Tucker Carlson and Ben Shapiro, among a bunch of other radio hosts and right-wingers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I heard something about that. Do you think that was part of the reason why he's making these statements now?
Yeah, I think so. I think this is a major attempt at damage control. And I remember I think it was like a few years ago, before Tucker Carlson got his slot on Fox, that he also went to some sort of meeting with Glenn Beck and Mark Zuckerberg, where, according to him, Glenn Beck, or he wasn't allowed to say exactly who it was, but it made it very clear it was Glenn Beck was just sucking up to Zuckerberg.
Wow. According to the story here at Axios.com, quote, "The reality is we make a lot of decisions that affect people's ability to speak, but we won't always get it right," unquote. Zuckerberg further pointed to Facebook's nascent effort to create an independent Supreme Court-like oversight board as one response. Oof. That sounds awful. Going on here, and again, just another example of what you can do to get off of this particular platform is support the decentralized alternatives like Mastodon, where you can actually join a Mastodon server, or better yet, start your own, because it's an open source decentralized alternative. Now, it's not trying to do what Facebook does. Mastodon apes Twitter, and it does a pretty good job of it. It basically does everything that Twitter does without it being centrally managed in the same way that Twitter is. So, get off of these more centrally controlled platforms. Start building your presence on these other ones. If you're going to stay on Facebook, maybe link over to your presence on the decentralized platforms. Make it so that Facebook gets the posts after you post on the decentralized platform first, and there's a little link at the bottom of your Facebook post saying, "Hey, I originally posted this here on my Mastodon account. Follow me there." More coming up here. It's Free Talk Live.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Jake was in big trouble with the IRS. He owed how much?
$92,000.
Ouch. The IRS left no room for Jake to breathe.
They put a lien on my house, took all the money out of my bank account, took money out of my paychecks. So it was a nightmare.
He needed help fast.
I figured that all these companies were the same until I called Federal Tax Management. You could just tell they knew what they were talking about. Right then and there, I felt like I had some hope.
Stop the liens, levies, and garnishments fast and qualify for one of several special IRS programs that could reduce or even eliminate your tax debt. So, how'd it go for Jake?
They did what they said they would do. They came through for me. I ended up saving an unbelievable amount. I was so jazzed. I was extremely happy.
If you owe more than $10,000 in back taxes, take Jake's advice.
Give Federal Tax Management a phone call. If they help me, they can help anybody.
Call the Federal Tax Management Hotline now. 800-503-8625. 800-503-8625. 800-503-8625.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat grinder. Or maybe you recall that feeling you get when you go to the mailbox and see one or more letters from the IRS. You get a sense of impending doom, don't you? So let me ask you, if you could learn how to use the law to beat the IRS, traffic tickets, almost any courtroom scenario, collectors, credit card debt, and even mortgage debt because of fraud perpetrated against you, would that be worth knowing about? Don't laugh. Investigate. Check out the life-changing benefits of the Lighthouse Law Club at their website, lighthouselaw.club. That's lighthouselaw.club. And while you're at it, visit the Lighthouse Law Club YouTube channel. You might be in for a pleasant surprise.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
My name is Jacob Hornberger. I'm president of the Future of Freedom Foundation, which Congressman Ron Paul awarded for having an outstanding freedom website. Write us at fff@fff.org, and we'll send you a free 3-month subscription to our monthly journal of libertarian essays and our booklet, Economic Liberty in the Constitution, which George Mason University economics professor Walter Williams praised in a recent column. That's fff@fff.org.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Bring up what you want. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. By the way, I want to say thank you to Paza, who is a Free Talk Live silver amplifier. Paza contributes $5 a month to Free Talk Live's AMP program. AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. And the idea is you can help us get this program and the ideas of freedom and such on the air on more radio stations. We have over 200 radio stations that air this show at various different times throughout the week. And that could be 300, it could be 400, but it takes time, it takes money, it takes effort to make those things change, and so your $5 a month can make a big difference. So thank you to Paza and everybody else who amps the show. I think we've got about 200 Free Talk Live amplifiers, and definitely appreciate every single one of them. You can join the AMP program and get some cool perks like access to the AMP chat rooms or the subscribers chat rooms on our Discord server. There's also an AMP-only Facebook group and some other perks, some other benefits that you can get access to as an amplifier over at amp.freetalklive.com. You can sign up with PayPal. You can use credit card. You can use Bitcoin, BTC at ampamp.freetalklive.com. Tonight, it's Ian here.
Nobody.
And Vincent.
We're dissecting a little bit of what Mark Zuckerberg had to say at his speech this week. I guess it was within the last couple days, actually, at Georgetown University, where apparently, despite speaking on freedom of speech and making it sound as though Facebook's policies may be changing in a more freedom of speech oriented manner, but we've yet to actually see if there's any proof of that, that he apparently did not bother taking any questions from anyone in the audience, which may belie the truth of the matter, which is to say that, you know, if you support free speech, you probably should have left a few minutes for the audience to actually ask you something about it, after the fact.
Well, if you want your presentation to be convincing, you want to allow questions to be asked. because that way you find out, it gives people an opportunity to find out whether there's equivocation going on.
Indeed.
Oh, when you say this, do you mean this or do you mean that?
Right. And when are you going to implement this policy? Is it going to be as of today, or because, just within the last few days, people we know have been punished for things on Facebook? But he has identified what he considers to be 3 threats to free expression on the horizon. He said China was one of them. And by the way, Facebook does not operate in China, according to the story over at Axios.com. He then identifies other platforms like Facebook and says they've created on Facebook an independent Supreme Court-like oversight board as one response, as though anybody wants to go to some Supreme Court-like board in order to get an opinion about whether or not the thing that they have posted should or should not be allowed.
They're trying to get that installed on campus.
Oh, yeah, this new free speech rules thing?
Yes.
So-called. What's this about?
So I don't mean to derail from the conversation.
Let's talk about
derail, please.
It's the new today was the last day they are accepting
comments.
Comments and criteria for it. According to a source I hear, it's been so far overall negative backlash. I'll pull up the exact wording we received from the office of a provost. There's allegedly 5 quote freedom of speech meetings on campus about. Excuse me, I just have to go through all these emails about the new freedom of speech guidelines and what freedom of speech means at Keene State College. And it's a public college, right?
Yep, government funded.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely government funded. So, I mean, to any sane person, the freedom of speech policy should be the First Amendment.
Mm-hmm.
But no, that's not the case. And the wording is basically freedom from being criticized. Here we go. It's the
this is the proposed policy that you're about to read?
Yes,
okay.
Yes. So it's here at Keene State College. The exchange of diverse perspectives, ideas, and experiences is encouraged when discussing important social, personal, and political issues. It is essential to co-create spaces that support the expression of these views and allows members to assemble with others to promote a worthy cause, while also maintaining an environment that respects the dignity of all people. Belonging, compassion, and mutual respect are foundational values at Keene State College. Okay, so that's a flowery language.
Nothing wrong with compassion. And
there's something wrong with demanding respect because not all people are respectable. Some people don't deserve respect.
True.
Hey, whoa! You can't say that on campus. You'll get in trouble, Rich.
Well, I hope they're listening on campus. If you are, turn it up.
So now here's the insidious part. To that end, any language that denigrates or dehumanizes another person or groups of people is open to critique, rebuttal by members within the community, and an assessment of risk of harm to another person. The assessment will address any potential psychological, spiritual, mental, or physical harm to another person.
What does that mean?
Okay, now what does that mean, an assessment? Because they can assess whatever they want. I'll go say it to their face so they can assess it. But do they then have the ability to suppress it or to suppress you for having said it?
Oh, and that's why so many people in the journalism department and just to people who care about freedom of speech on campus. I mean, the people who care enough to actually read their student email and actually find out about this. It's open to broad interpretation. My interpretation of it is that the assessment is going to be some sort of like Politburo, Soviet style, acceptable speech board or something, which is run obviously by politically motivated people.
Sure.
And it's like,
so if they hear somebody say something, somebody says something they don't like, they will be told they have to come in front of this board. Is that the idea?
It doesn't say that explicitly, but I mean, it's from my interpretation. That sounds like what it's gonna be.
Now, we were sitting at the local bar actually that takes cryptocurrency. I think it was yesterday, and one of your professors happened to have been in there. You were talking with him about this, and it was his assessment that this was a completely unconstitutional policy.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Well, depending on what assessment is. If there are any consequences to the assessment, then yes. But to merely assess something is to think about what it means.
Yeah.
It doesn't have any effect. and it's something you can't stop doing. Every time I hear a statement, I assess whether I think it's true or not.
Does it get into further detail on what that assessment would be?
No, it does not. And I just want to point out that this email was sent out.
I think you should interview some of these people about exactly what this means and hold their feet to the fire.
I absolutely do plan on, yes, my WKNH show wake-up call. And so this was put out, but the email was sent by the office of a provost. But the person who wrote the email...
What is that? What is a provost?
Heck if I know.
But I thought it was a kind of cheese.
I mean, every time they mentioned a provost, I imagine them wearing a wig and a big black robe.
Okay.
But it was sent. The email itself was sent by the office of a provost, but it was written by Dottie Morris, who's the associate vice president of institutional equity and diversity. So I don't know what
that sounds scary.
I don't know what that office has to do with the freedom of speech.
According to
they suppress it.
According to UNH, a provost is the university's chief academic officer and is responsible to the president for the creation and implementation of the academic priorities for the university and for the allocation of resources that will support those priorities.
Well, this isn't an academic priority. This has nothing to do with academics. This is social control.
You should get Aria to come in one Wednesday for breakfast and call her a tranny or something. It won't bother her in the least, but would be regarded as... I mean, if you want to do some serious activism, because you're taking a big risk, but I'm pretty sure you'll win in court.
I don't do Wednesdays anymore. I do it Mondays and Thursdays from 4 to 5. But
we're not there.
Well, I mean, I don't know why anyone would want to eat at the DC, but to each their own.
That's the dining commons in the local college. We have a meetup. We have a meetup. It's not that bad.
You were forced to eat there for 2 years, Minister Freeman.
Good point. I was not forced to do that. That's true.
God, I mean, and it's like I remember I was people. It's like it was after a vacation and people were back. I'm in the restroom and people were complaining about stomach problems and they were like, "Oh yeah, that's right, we're eating the DC food again." But that was back when Sodexo was running it instead of the current company.
It's pretty much the same. So let us know as this develops, Vincent. How this develops. I'm sure there are other people out there that are curious to know what free speech looks like on college campuses these days. So the final point from Zuckerberg,
and gasping for air.
The final point. Remember, he had 3 threats to freedom of expression. His third threat is partisan politics. He says, quote, "We're seeing people across the spectrum try to define more speech as dangerous because it may lead to political outcomes they see as unacceptable. Some hold the view that since the stakes are so high, they can no longer trust their fellow citizens with the power to communicate and decide what to believe for themselves. I personally believe this is more dangerous for democracy over the long term than almost any speech." So... does that mean he's going to back off on...
I would agree with him on that. That, I mean, the statement is true. I hope I will see changes in behavior to make me think he really believes it.
Time will tell, and I imagine some of our listeners who still are on Facebook will report their experience, including buddy, as to when you get banned next and for what. I think Ari has been getting banned quite a bit from Facebook for saying things that people find offensive, so we'll keep you informed in this as it develops. Hour 2's next. Free Talk Live.
Warning, this is a privacy alert. You are being spied on right now as I speak by your phone. If you want this to stop, visit GoDarkBags.com and we'll show you how elite military units protect themselves and how you can too. GoDark Bags are lab tested and guaranteed for life. Visit GoDarkBags.com now and enter discount code FTL to save 15%. That's GoDarkBags.com. Discount code FTL. Your privacy depends on it. End transmission.
Do you have a qualified plan, an IRA, 401k, or some other type of investment account? Would you like to learn how the ultra-wealthy take their retirement accounts and make them legally 100% tax-free? Have your money liquid and invest in literally anything you want to, completely tax-free with the blessing of the IRS. And no, it's not a Roth. Join us at dna.freetalklive.com for more details and your exclusive invitation to the free webinar on Tuesday at 8 p.m. Register now at dna.freetalklive.com.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. Local.bitcoin.com. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,493, silver at $17.56, and Bitcoin is trading around $8,090. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, just one day after a Texas sheriff caused an outcry after referring to undocumented immigrant offenders as drunks at a White House press conference, his own son was arrested on charges of public drunkenness and indecent exposure. 24-year-old Sergey Wayborn faced the charges just after Tarrant County Sheriff Bill Wayborn caused an uproar with his blanket characterization of undocumented immigrants as persistent lawbreakers. Last Thursday, the sheriff criticized a California court ruling that banned the use of unreliable databases by Immigration and Customs Enforcement to detain immigrants held by local authorities who may have been eligible for deportation, according to a report from the Dallas Morning News. Sheriff Wayborn's son was arrested the very next day near the AT&T Stadium in Texas after exposing his genitals to passing motorists, according to the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. Unlike the vast majority of undocumented immigrants, the son also has a long rap sheet in the region. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. California has become the third state to bar most animals from circus performances under a new bill signed last weekend by Governor Gavin Newsom. A separate bill signed by the governor is the first of its kind in the nation, banning the sale and manufacture of new fur products. The law, which will kick into effect in 2023, follows Newsom's signing of legislation that outlaws fur trapping. The Mind Unleashed reports that in December, New Jersey and Hawaii both became the first states in the U.S. to issue legislation banning the use of circus animals, which campaigners have denounced as a form of animal cruelty. The new measures ban all wild animal species, including elephants, bears, tigers, lions, and primates, from circuses and traveling shows. The law will exempt domesticated dogs, cats, and horses, and does not apply to rodeos. In August of 2016, Florida police officer Lee Cole gunned down 73-year-old Mary Knowlton in front of dozens of stunned onlookers during a demonstration about police use of deadly force. More than 6 months passed while law enforcement conducted their investigation, and it was announced in 2017 that Cole was being charged. However, thanks to what the Free Thought Project calls a corrupt system, the cop will not be going to jail. In a landmark move, Punta Gordo Police Chief Tom Lewis, who adamantly defended his deadly negligent officer, was also charged. However, he was acquitted of his charge of culpable negligence earlier this year. Cole was charged with manslaughter, a first-degree felony, and took a plea deal this week. Wink News reports that as part of the deal, Cole, whose case was moved to Lee County, will plead no contest to second-degree manslaughter and receive 10 years probation, and not serve any prison time in the death of Knowlton. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Jode Press-Beckman. From claim jumpers to politicians to coyotes, the straight shooter that shook up the presidential race is taking them all on and licking them good.
Hello, Jode.
Who and what's behind these potato monkey shines?
Well, these scientists are trying to mass-produce potatoes that are more resistant to disease, but they're doing so in potentially dangerous ways that alter their DNA.
Tater disease, what brung us Irish.
Right.
You give a tater man's constitution, you can bet he's coming to play old Joe to call.
Yes, well, nature's revenge could come in the form of disease
now you listen
or
to
allergens.
Me, taters. You gave a mind of a tater.
Jode, please, let me make my point.
You're tater-minded and you're looking to infiltrate old Joe's cabin, but you're too late.
No.
Now you get out, or
right,
I'll
Jode.
slice your tater heart out and fry it up on my grill.
Okay, Jode.
Now, y'all stay close here. Gonna have my jug band back here, and if Jasper don't let me strum the washboard, we're gonna resort to cutting.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. You dial toll free if you want to join us here. The number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. That is where you can join, and you can sound almost like you're sitting here in the studio with us. And you can do that by, again, going to discord.lrn.fm. What is Discord? It is a chat server that is available to you 24 hours a day. And it makes it really easy to interact with other Free Talk Live listeners. They're in there pretty much around the clock. You can also voice chat with them as well. Sometimes they're in the voice chat rooms, but usually they're in the text chat areas. And as I said, during our live show, we've got open phone lines there that sound way better than regular phone lines. So join us over at discord.lrn.fm. Now, of course, you can bring up anything that you want here on Free Talk Live. In the first hour of the program, we talked about Mark Zuckerberg and a speech that he gave recently out at Georgetown University, where he made it sound like they're trying to change the rules at Facebook to be more freedom of speech friendly. But of course, we're only going to really know what happens when they actually make the changes. If they make any changes, it could just have been, just for image, and only time is going to tell in that area. But Vincent, you had a Mark Zuckerberg related story tonight as well.
Yeah, and I just to add to what you were saying, image, and also some people, like I'm not a legal expert, but some people are saying that Facebook faced risks from like lawsuits because by letting only one political side of a political spectrum advertise and not the other, that could be viewed as a like-kind contribution.
In kind.
In kind.
Yeah, well, the other thing is, their censorship places them in danger of being treated as a publisher under the law because publishers decide what they publish. Platforms just provide a forum for you to publish. So if you're a platform, you're not liable for things like criminal slander, civil slander, libel, all of the various speech laws. So literally, Facebook is at risk of being held responsible for every mean thing that anybody says on Facebook legally, as if they were a newspaper and publishing it as a story. And that would be that would be the end of Facebook.
And we've discussed on Free Talk Live before the fact that Facebook would alternatively refer to itself as a platform or a publisher, whichever was more convenient in their argument.
Right, and they made the argument in court that they were a platform or a publisher based on, I can't remember who was suing them or why, but then and a lot of people saw that as them walking into a legal trap.
And I don't mean to keep derailing from the discussion, but this is I like that. That is where people who actually cared about freedom and freedom of speech, that's where they could get from that, right? Because they're having protections of a platform versus a publisher. So whenever there's a people who demand that the government break it up or the government turn Facebook into a utility, that's just, for me, I mean, that's all just as malicious, and that's just another side. So I mean, it's just working together to implement tyranny.
Well, there are people like Chris Cantwell who were advocating that Facebook should be government regulated, that because Facebook was favoring one side of politics over another side, that he was calling for the government to come in and make it fair for everybody, make it this sort of unbiased platform where anybody who wants to can post on it, that it should be like, the town square, essentially, or the town common. And I can't disagree more with that. I think Facebook should be able to restrict whatever speech that they want to. It's their platform, and they should be able to set the rules about who gets to access that platform. Whether they're calling it a publisher or a platform, to me, is immaterial. They should be able to set their own rules. And if you don't like it, stop posting there. Go somewhere else. Start your own Mastodon server. Go to somebody else's Mastodon server.
Yeah.
Develop something else.
The problem is you can go to Mastodon, but you're going to be talking to yourself.
You aren't owed, but you're not owed an audience.
No, you're not.
They built that. It's theirs, not yours.
Well, actually, no. Obama
true.
and Elizabeth Warren, Ian, they taught me that even though it might have been their idea, they had used labor that's been paid for by taxpayer dollars to educate them. So, in fact, you did not build that business. But I just want to say that it's not like also Alex Jones is demanding an internet bill of rights and such. But I mean, it's like, for me, and I understand your position that whatever website, whoever owns it should be able to publish whatever they want. But in this case, I mean, it's a sense of justice where Facebook is behaving as if they're above the law, right? Because if on, FreeKeene, you were calling yourself a platform, and FreeKeene.com was calling itself a platform, but was behaving as a publisher, you would get struck down by the government, right? The small people. But because Facebook is this gigantic company with all the billions of dollars in lobbying and everything, they think that they're above the law, and that's absolutely not right.
Look, I don't know where this definition of the platform versus the publisher thing came from. I'd never even heard of it prior to this whole Facebook controversy. Who is to tell me that I shouldn't be able to just have a platform that's only for libertarians? Why shouldn't I be able to do that? You're not a libertarian? You're not allowed on my platform. You're not libertarian enough? You're not allowed on my platform.
Yeah, but they're still getting they receive the legal protections of claiming to be a platform, but while they're behaving as a publisher. So,
what are the legal protections?
Well, if someone uploads, like, say child pornography to a platform, then the owners of a platform won't be liable just because they're hosting it. They would obviously have to remove it, compared to a publisher, right? A publisher, if someone, if they would allow people to, people that they agree with to publish.
But even publishers have platforms, right? So on the FreeKeene blog, which I am a blogger at, and as are you, nobody.
FreeKeene is a publisher, not a platform.
But there's a comments section that's open to anyone to comment. Isn't that a platform?
That's actually funny. I think one would think that should operate based on the rules of a platform, because certainly that's not something that you're publishing, whereas the original Pulse is something that you or somebody authorized by you is publishing.
I'm pretty hands off with comments.
Yeah,
but other places are not hands off. They're highly moderated when it comes to comments. So, look, the rules are what they are, and anybody should be able to set whatever rules they want to for access to whether it's their platform or they're a publisher or whatever. And the fact that Chris Cantwell and other people like him want to see the government get involved is a very, very scary idea indeed, because basically what that is saying is we want the government to come in and audit people's code. We want the government to be able to have the power to come in and say, well, Facebook, we've heard your algorithm isn't fair. Because you were mentioning this earlier tonight, Nobody, and I agree with you. It's probably not fair at all in the way that it decides things. But it doesn't have to be. It's their algorithm. They should be able to have it be as biased as they want it to be. And if the government gets to come in there and then decide, well, now you have opened up the Pandora's box. Because up until now, for the most part, and Nobody, you know this as a programmer, code has been pretty sacred as far as free speech is concerned. You can write pretty much any kind of program that you want to, as long as it's not being used to, like a hacking kind of program to violate other people's property rights. But, as far as whatever your program is for the website you're running or the business that you have, you don't have to ask anyone's permission for it to exist. You just code the thing and you put it out there, you compile it, and people run it. Right? There's no government code agency looking over your shoulder. You don't have to submit your code to some bureaucracy first to make sure it gets their seal of approval before you can release it. And if that's what happens with Facebook or any of these other platforms, is the government comes in there and says, oh, well, we want to see how your algorithms work, whether or not they're being fair or not, and then they have to approve it, you've just ended any kind of freedom to code, because that's the camel's nose under the tent, and they're going to be able to go from there and approve everything.
Although there is a difference between writing code and running code. You can write and publish just about any code you want to, but if you then use that code to set up, say, you could take, imagine you took WordPress and you set up a darknet market that just ran on WordPress. Even though the WordPress would still be legal, but your actions while running it would be illegal.
Understood. But do you understand that it's a huge problem to have the government auditing code? Like, that's a scary situation. And that's what people like Cantwell are calling for when they say they want the government to enforce these sites to treat people equally. That's very scary stuff. More coming up. Free Talk Live.
Anarchapulco is the world's foremost conference for voluntarists, thinkers, and activists, held in beautiful Acapulco, Mexico. Share ideas on how to live free and escape the clutches of the state. Their unparalleled lineup of speakers will discuss entrepreneurship, investments, politics, philosophy, health, sustainability, lifestyles, and personal relationships. Stay in a world-class resort and enjoy the sun and beaches. February the 13th through the 16th, visit anarchapulco.com for early bird pricing and 10% off with coupon code FTL.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dinovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dinovite.
Dinovite is nutrition.
Pick up 2 bottles of LicoChops. Get the 3rd bottle free.
New improved LicoChops with omega-3, omega-6, vitamin E.
And now, 6 extra direct-fed microbials.
Even better for the digestive tract and immune system.
Try LicoChops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dinovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
I can definitely say that I have found the best cryptocurrency wallet. Certainly the best named one. I'm Mark Edge, and I love the Edge wallet. I've been using it for the last few months. You can buy, sell, trade, and hold your cryptocurrency securely. I trust my holdings of all the major cryptocurrencies to Edge Wallet, and you should too. No long phrases to memorize, just a username and password. Secure your freedom with Edge Wallet. Get it now on Apple or Android in the App Store or at edge.app.
With Fortune DNA, you can invest in anything you want to, 100% tax-free for you and your heirs, and use your money before you're 59 and a half, without ever losing your principal, all with the blessing of the IRS. Avoid the volatility of the market, put certainty back in your investing future, and keep full access to your money with Fortune DNA. Join us at dna.freetalklive.com for more details and your exclusive invitation to the free webinar on Tuesday at 8 p.m. Register now at dna.freetalklive.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at shiresociety.com. That's shiresociety.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Is oral health important to you? If you don't like your own teeth, fresh breath, or kissing people, then by all means stop listening. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I became passionate about the product that she created and never want to live without it. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, but I find it does much more. They want you to love My Magic Mud as much as I do, so they're giving you a money-back guarantee plus 20% off. Go to mymagicmud.com and use coupon code FTL20 at checkout. mymagicmud.com, FTL20.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial toll free. Bring up whatever you want to talk about here. Free speech on the internet. It's becoming an issue, and the internet was supposed to be a place for free speech. And it just doesn't have that same feeling in a lot of ways anymore on platforms like YouTube, for instance, where certain videos just aren't allowed at all. Others are demonetized and or partially demonetized. And then there's, the CNN-style videos that are actually promoted.
Oh, it is YouTube. So disgusting. You could type in any video, like my video, Free Talk Live's video, and anyone who's not mainstream, right? You could type in the exact verbatim title, and you would get 20 videos of CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, Vox, Vice, all of it. And it's just so disgusting. The fact that people aren't, rioting in the streets because, well, metaphorically, politically rioting in the streets over this it just shows how domesticated people have become, because it is so infuriating that I have to go to find the actual video that's relevant. I have to go through 3 pages of mainstream media crap. And it's like, a lot of the times the actual video I'm looking for has like millions of views, but the first 2 pages, the average view count is like less than 10,000 for like CNN, MSNBC. It's it's just so blatantly obvious. I mean, Google is evil.
Their toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. So you were, Vincent, you had a story about Zuckerberg and privacy. I don't know if we even really got into that.
No, it's it's a new. This is from Futurism.com. It was published yesterday. Its new privacy bill could send Mark Zuckerberg to jail. And I'll begin. On Thursday, Oregon Senator Ron Wyden unveiled the official version of a privacy bill designed to protect Americans' data and punish anyone who deceptively exploits it.
Oh boy!
Even
this is just what we need. The government to come in and help us with privacy. The very same people who run the NSA.
Well, they're also the people who keep us from lynching Zuckerberg if he steps too far out of line.
Even the CEOs.
Zuckerberg is not the problem. I mean, he does. If anybody deserves to be lynched, it's the politicians, not people running tech companies.
It's like they become so symbiotic, these gigantic mega corporations, Silicon Valley, Wall Street, K Street, and the government, that we don't really know who's actually pulling the strings here. Like you said, the government runs the NSA, but with all the domestic intelligence coup against President Trump, part of me would say maybe the NSA, because they have all this data with old PRISM and everything, what Edward Snowden came out, maybe the NSA and the Department of Justice, FBI, CIA, to a certain extent, they run the government versus the shadow government, what people call the deep state. And
well, I don't know about all that. I think the deep state is basically just a way to distract people from what the government actually does. This sort of fantasy idea that, and people like Alex Jones have taken up this concept. The idea of this deep state is, well, there's all these good people in the government, but then there's these bad deep staters over here, and we got to put a stop to them.
Well, I mean, that's the QAnon.
Not so much it. The thing about the deep state is basically you have intelligence agencies that are trained. They cut their teeth overthrowing foreign governments, controlling public opinion in foreign countries. And to say that there is no deep state is to say that these people are all so ethical that they never, ever use those skills against us. Now, that's ethical from that point of view. So the thing is, if we know that there are spooks who make their business changing the results of elections in foreign countries, then why would we think that they're not doing everything in their power to do the same thing to us that they would do to the Russians or the Chinese?
That's just the government. That's just the state.
That's the deep state.
It's not a deep state. It's just the state.
It's the part of it that most people don't know it's not there. It's there. I know it's there. You know it's there. But most people don't believe
that's not what people are talking about.
Well,
I've seen the clips that you've played on your show, Questioning Authority, Vincent, where you've played Alex Jones. You've played, I think, Sean Hannity.
Well, I'm not going all Alex Jones.
George Norrie.
But that's the thing. These people who are talking about the deep state, the way they talk about it is as though, there's just the bad parts of government. We can put good people in government and make them go away. And that's not true.
The existence of the deep state is inherent in
the government,
in the fact of the state.
Correct.
Somebody's going to take it over.
So, I mean, Ian, I agree with you in that sense, but there's multiple factions. There's different factions fighting against each other. Like the deep state that, Sean Hannity and Alex Jones talk about, that's primarily domestic intelligence, some neocon Republicans like John McCain and Mitt Romney, primarily the Democrats, but then backing Trump, and this is what I discussed in Questioning Authority's episode, Trump's right-wing takeover plan. Trump has, and Alex Jones and the whole Trump media apparatus, they have a backing of the military and military intelligence. So just because I'm speaking out against the deep state, that doesn't necessarily mean I'm endorsing the Trump side or just the regular mundane government.
I know you're not. I'm talking about the way this deep state thing is referred to by other people who aren't, libertarian talk shows.
But I mean,
I would say the
right.
conclusion to draw then is that the deep state does exist because logically it almost has to. But that doesn't necessarily mean that everybody who talks about it is correct in everything they say about it, which is also absolutely true.
Right, and nor does it mean that the non-deep state is somehow a good thing.
No, absolutely not.
And that's what they're.
The deep state is there. A lot of the purpose of the deep state is to convince us not to overthrow the rest of the state.
Well, and they
have
agree
to manipulate the media to do that. When you think about, we all know that the network media is being manipulated by the government. The part of the government that does that would be the deep state. Okay, the part of the government that let the broadcasting corporations go on so-called obscenity violations if and only if they would put anti-drug propaganda in their programming and not tell anybody. That was the deep state.
Was that a real story?
Huh?
Did that really happen?
Yeah, that really happened.
It's what they call,
I'll have to find a citation on it.
I mean, it's what they call continuity of government in the sense that it was the continuity. I believe COG was initiated after 9/11, and it's basically like I think the British call it a shadow parliament, where you have a group of unelected people who, like John was this former CIA director John Brennan, who James Comey, James Clapper, all these people that Sean Hannity obsessively talks about every night on Fox News, who make sure that Trump's faction, who was like legitimately elected, for better or for worse, doesn't change whatever like globalist agenda that Obama and the Democrats put it. That doesn't necessarily mean what Trump is doing is right. I'm just saying that it's an anti-democratic faction of a government, that they try to overturn a duly elected president. Whether you like him or not, that's what they're trying to do.
The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Regardless of what people like Hannity and these others say, it doesn't matter who you elect. The deep state isn't going to go away. You cannot elect good people and make them rout out the deep state. The state itself is corruption. The state itself is violence.
They
the
can't
state
go
itself,
away by elections.
The state itself is evil, and no number of elections is going to save that. There's more coming up. It's Free Talk Live.
Do you have a crypto wealth advisor or coach? If so, has your cryptocurrency advisor been investing in technology stocks for over 20 years? Have they left the corporate world and retired? Or are they still trying to make a weekly paycheck? Have they produced six-figure results for their customers in the past 30 days? And very importantly, are they a member of the Digital Currency Council? Seth Maniscalco is the founder of Crypto Wealth Coach and CryptoWealthCoach.com. Seth invested in his first Roth IRA at 19 years old while living abroad and has been investing in Wall Street and technology for over 20 years. With experience in all the money markets. By comparison, so many of these so-called crypto gurus have barely been alive for 20 years. Seth has not only experienced personal success from his own investments in crypto, he has also helped his clients earn 6- and 7-figure incomes, including helping investors make over $750,000 in EOS in 90 days and 1,225% in only 5.5 months with Chainlink. Seth has help for the small do-it-yourself guy on up to crypto whales. Increase your wealth. Visit CryptoWealthCoach.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing. To be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
There are basically two types of advertising: direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
Do you ever say, I could care less, when you really mean the opposite? You mean to say, I couldn't care less. It's a common mistake. You are judged by how you speak, especially if you're looking for work, with so many more applicants than openings now. But even if you're not, avoiding common misstatements will help you make the most of the dozens of conversations and transactions that crowd your daily routine. So whatever you say, don't say whatever as a single-word sentence. It's the most annoying expression in the American English language, according to a recent poll. And avoid cliches like the plague. Just kidding. But seriously, at the end of the day, you'll want to avoid this scenario, sounding like everyone else. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Live video of our key New Hampshire-based shows is streamed on DLive. Please follow and share at dlive.lrn.fm. That's dlive.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll-free here, bring up whatever you want. Coming up, Vincent's going to tell us about Tulsi Gabbard calling out Hillary Clinton Normally, I don't, find politicians to be particularly interesting, but this Gabbard lady seems to be doing some interesting stuff.
She dropped some truth.
Yeah.
She's Democratic wafu.
All right, so we'll get into that on the way here. Also, liberty-minded folks have been turning towards liberty.menu as a great platform only for libertarians, where you can go and put up whatever thing that you do. Maybe you've got a business that you want more freedom-oriented people to be your customers. Maybe you've got an event you want to promote. Perhaps you're a digital content provider and you want more people to pay attention to the audio or the video that you're putting out there. You can put a listing up, or more than one of them, for free at liberty.menu. It is exclusively for individuals who reject the initiation of force and those who agree to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principle. So if that describes you, then you really ought to be over at liberty.menu. And yes, you can use code FTL on your user profile and get a special Free Talk Live listener badge. That's liberty.menu. As we continue here, Vincent, where were we with this story about Zuckerberg? I don't even know what it's about.
We didn't even get past the first paragraph. No, it's not too long of an article. So because it does get into the three main points of the legislation. Oregon Senator Ron Wyden unveiled the official version of a privacy bill.
Oh, that's right. The government's going to protect your privacy.
Yes. So it comes into a quote here, quote, Mark Zuckerberg won't take Americans' privacy seriously unless he feels personal consequences, Wyden said in the bill's announcement. A slap on the wrist from the FTC won't do the job. So under my bill, he'd face jail time for lying to the government. Wyden shared the full text of his bluntly named Mind Your Own Business Act, but summed up its core points in the announcement. Quote, it is based on three basic...
Just the idea of having a piece of legislation called the Mind Your Own Business Act is like the height of hypocrisy.
Of course.
It is based on the three basic ideas, Wyden explained. Consumers must be able to control their own private information. Companies must provide vastly more transparency about how they use and share our data. And corporate executives need to be held personally responsible when they lie about protecting our personal information. So, I'll say, hey, that's a good start. When's he going to introduce a bill that holds politicians personally responsible?
For lying.
Oh, absolutely.
Never. That's when.
And last paragraph here is, in recent years, lawmakers from across the political spectrum have been verbally cracking down on... verbally cracking down.
Verbally cracking down. That guy's been smoking some verbal crack.
On the tech industry in general, and Facebook in particular, for regularly exploiting and mishandling users' data. Whether all that talk leads to action remains to be seen, but if Wyden's bill does become law, Facebook and its ilk will need to rethink how they approach data privacy or risk seeing their leaders behind bars.
Well, look what happened in Europe, where they passed some stupid legislation about privacy. Now every
and all
damn
I got
website,
is a stupid pop-up.
Yeah, every damn website now with this GDPR was what it's called, compliance, and it's a pop-up on every site letting you know, hey, we've got cookies here. Here's a description of what a cookie is. Make sure you click this button so you can actually get to the content you want to get to. So now every site, the first time you go to it, requires an extra click. It's just a huge time waste. For everybody.
You should be able to set a cookie in your browser that's like, screw your cookies. And if you have that cookie set, you won't see that. It's like, yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's become a huge...
Shut up, baby, I know.
Huge hassle. I was just looking at new WordPress themes over the last couple of days, and some of them were advertising that they are GDPR compliant. And I'm like, I don't want that. Yeah. I don't want that on my website. Can I turn that off?
Right.
I'm not going to be GDPR compliant because I don't care.
If you can't turn it off, I'll hack it out of there for you. It's open source.
Sure.
So I just want to bring up, this is another point. I watched the Democratic debate, all 3 hours of it on, I believe, Tuesday.
Jesus.
And I know I have no life, but
that's gotta hurt.
So Andrew,
I watched the 6 minutes of Tulsi Gabbard. That was the interesting part.
Yeah.
Andrew Yang, part of his policy, he has a long thing on his website. I'll just read the quote here. He said that you should get a check in the mail from Facebook, Amazon, and Google for your data. So he believes that since all these big tech companies are
selling your stuff,
that people ought to have a he calls his $1,000 a month for freedom dividend. I forget exactly what he called it.
Is this another 1,000 on top of the minimum guaranteed income?
No, but he calls it data check.
Or is
in
he
the mail.
talking about taxing the tech companies to pay for the? I mean, the $2,000 thing is a big coincidence. I wonder if there's a connection.
What do you think your data is worth to them? I mean, it does bring up an interesting question of,
well, if you want to take an average, find the annual revenues of Facebook and divide it by the number of users.
Okay. So he said, according to Yang, this is from CNBC.com, companies should first be required to have customers opt in to data collection with a, quote, clear and easy to understand statement about what is being collected and how it is going to be used. Those who do opt in and share personal data with companies should then, quote, receive a share of the economic value generated from your data.
Wow. I don't agree.
Wow, yeah, that sounds like some crazy talk to me, because basically in order to do that, what you're doing is you're distributing the revenue of Facebook, and that you're nationalizing Facebook if you do that. You're saying we're going to distribute your profits to somebody else.
Well, I mean, from a Bane point of view, I could understand why.
Point of view?
A Bane?
Is this a character in Dark
From
Knight?
Yeah, absolutely. We're being exploited by the rich and these powerful big tech companies, and now Andrew Yang wants to give back some of that wealth to you, the people. And so this actually might happen in California, because I have here continue. In his State of the State address in February, California Governor Gavin Newsom said customers should be compensated for use of their data. And I'll just read the quote here. I've asked my team to develop a proposal for a new data dividend for Californians because we recognize that your data has value and it belongs to you.
Well, not if you give it up. But, I mean, if companies wanted to offer this on their own, then that's fine.
They would never do that.
Well, I mean, once upon a time...
Well, I mean, you could build a business model where you are doing exactly what Facebook does with data and distributing, say, 50% of the profit to the user base.
Well, but why would they do that when they could just trick people into,
Why would they do it? Because it would be a reason to switch to your platform instead of Facebook, which does exactly the same thing and doesn't pay you for it.
Wasn't there some alternative to Facebook that was trying to do something like that recently, within the last year or something?
There's a collection of them.
They were.
Didn't Minds do something like that, or am I thinking of Steemit?
I don't know what they all are, but Steemit's a blockchain-based thing, so that's different.
Yeah.
But I remember there were some people who were like sharing links to this other platform saying, come on over here and join this other platform, you'll get paid. And of course, I remember, I've been around the internet long enough to remember some of the other schemes, like remember All Advantage back in the I think that's what it was called, back in the late 90s. They had this sort of scheme where if you looked at advertising, you'd earn pennies, basically. And so you'd, the more advertising that you looked at, you'd earn more, and then they'd pay you, and then you got paid basically on downline, so you could sign people up underneath you. And so there was just this money scheme, basically, that did work for some amount of time. Like, some people did get paid to look at advertising on the internet. The company ended up folding.
Right.
But, it wasn't
of course, the
Ponzi.
problem with that is nobody's going to take action based on an ad that they were paid to look at.
Right.
That's
So
going
it
to be a
won't be
very
effective.
rare thing. So my guess is at some point in that process, the people paying for the advertising are getting defrauded.
Well, either
so
that or
for
they're just not
example,
getting good results.
they're paying Facebook for the advertising, but then Facebook is reaching out to this company and saying, hey, come look at all these ads for us so we can rack up more advertising sales. I don't think Facebook itself is doing that. It has different scams, but...
All right, so the government, California, you've got a national level, both these politicians, this Yang, this Wyden, proposing the idea that people should get paid for their data. And on its face, it's attractive, right?
Mm-hmm.
People who, feel like Facebook is the bad guy and haven't figured out that it's actually the state and the government that's the bad guy, that they're the real problem. Facebook you can ignore. If you want to ignore Facebook, you can ignore Facebook. If you ignore the government, at some point they're going to come with men with guns to steal you from your home, put you in a cage, take your cars, take your bank accounts, and destroy your life. Facebook, as bad as it is, has never done that to anyone.
Well, except that Facebook, by its policies, is doing everything it can to keep the power in the hands of the people who are doing it by propping up established political parties, by propping up a corrupt mainstream media by
Hold that thought,
preventing
nobody.
people
This
from
is Free Talk
differing?
Live.
Yep. So just at this point, our network hasn't come in with the ads. So at this point, we may or may not actually still be on the air. It's not clear.
Isn't that
So
special?
we can continue to vamp here because there's nothing playing. But I wouldn't expect that anything that you say to actually go out on the radio at this point. It may only be our internet audience that is hearing this part
Surprise
of the show.
after show or a during show.
A during, yeah,
There you
a during
go.
show, an alternate show during the show.
Does that mean we can lay aside the FCC thing for the next?
I wouldn't do that.
I wouldn't do
no,
that
because
either.
there is still the chance that there's something drastically wrong happening at the network side where their ads just have, like, maybe they're at the computer that plays the ads blew up, basically, and they
Evil
don't.
Tea Club's
There they
original
are.
pure Pouty
We'll be
Arco
back.
Super Tea comes from the only tree in the world that fungus does not grow on. So it naturally has antifungal, antiviral, antibacterial, anti-infection, anti-inflammation, and anti-parasite properties. But maybe more importantly, Taheebo Tea Club's original pure Pouty Arco Super Tea builds corpuscles in the blood which carry oxygen to our organs and cells. Our organs and cells need oxygen to regenerate themselves. The immune system needs oxygen to develop, and cancer happens to die in oxygen. The tea is great for healthy people, and it can truly be miraculous for someone fighting a potentially life-threatening disease due to an infection, diabetes, or cancer. Taheebo Tea Club's original pure Pouty Arco Super Tea is only $34.95 plus shipping. Order now at shopsupertea.com or call 818-984-6100. That's shopsupertea.com, 818-984-6100, shopsupertea.com.
Free Talk Live.
It would be better if we talked about the basis of all of this as far as the legal theory.
I get the legal theory. That's the problem with people who call like this, Scott. You really sound like you know what you're talking about, but ultimately you don't have anything to prove that you know what you're talking about. And everyone who's ever tried this stuff has gone down in flames. And of course, everyone always says after that, like you're saying about your own self and your own experience, oh, well, I didn't know enough at that time. I know now. And I really don't want to hear any more about this until you actually come up with some evidence, because I'm telling you, it's bunk and it doesn't work at all because these people don't follow their own rules. Even if you have figured out from inside their own rules, even if you spent years, as you say you have, researching their ordinances and researching their statutes and how law works and the contract stuff and all of that, none of it matters because they don't follow their own rules.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. You join us here toll free. Take control of the airwaves. 855-450 free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord call-in line rooms. They're open and available to you over at discord.lrn.fm. Joining you in the studio tonight, you've got Ian.
Nobody.
And Vincent.
And also want to make sure you know about AnyPay. It is the way for you, if you have a business that you want to accept cryptocurrency. AnyPay can help you. Just go to helpmetakebitcoin.com. And that is where you can go to easily get started accepting cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Dash, and Bitcoin Cash. It is so easy. It is like shockingly easy how they've made this. You just go over there and just walk right through the steps. over at helpmetakebitcoin.com, which could include setting up your own wallet. Maybe you don't even have that part done yet. Well, they make it super easy to do that at helpmetakebitcoin.com, and then setting up the AnyPay app, which is available for both iOS and Android devices. Plus, there's also a web browser version as well. Once again, it's helpmetakebitcoin.com. As we go to your calls and thoughts, we've got Dave. He's in Colorado. Coming up, Tulsi Gabbard calls out Hillary Clinton. Dave, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
Hey, guys. Well, remember when I called the other day and we were talking about YouTube censorship?
Yeah, I mean, that's been a topic that's come up, and in fact, we talked about it a little bit here tonight.
I wasn't on that night, so could you recap?
Well, basically, my channel just, suffered a big drop in hits around, March of 2019. I'd had trouble figuring out why that was. And I started to use, you guys recommended that I started using library.com as an alternative.
It's lbry.com, just for listeners that aren't clear on that.
Yeah, I did start doing that. I got their app, and they automatically dubbed like 1,000 of my most recent videos over to their channel.
Nice.
And they paid me $50 in cryptocurrency for letting them do that and everything, and giving me information to do that. A person with my size channel, which is about 35,000 subscribers, gets about that much money.
No, that's right. They pay by the number of subscribers, right? The payout that you get has to do with how many people are subscribed.
Correct.
Okay.
So that's gone well. It's been helpful.
For listeners that aren't familiar, Library, we've had the founder of Library on the air with us before, Jeremy Kaufman. He's actually a Free Stater that lives in Manchester. Great guy, and Library is a great platform. It's lbry.com. They are a decentralized video storage platform that's sort of blockchain based. And, without getting into any of the more technical side of things, they've been around for a few years now. They've got their own cryptocurrency, and I'm a fan. I like a lot of what they've done. They've done a great job at protecting content from censorship online. So if you care about that stuff, like if you really care, then you should be running the Library client. You should be supporting your favorite channels on that platform if they're there. And if they're not there, you ought to contact them and say, hey, how come you're not on Library yet? If you're only on YouTube, your content's at risk. You could have your entire channel shut down, and if you don't have backups of all those videos, they're gone.
Yep. Yeah, see, I want to get the Obscured Truth Network on there, actually.
Yeah, great idea.
I just thought of that because, they did a lot of my 420 rally footage.
Talk to Sam.
The sooner you get on it, the more of your content is protected, because like I said, they'll only go back 1,000 videos at this point. So, but they're going forward forever as far as I can tell. They're automatically re-uploading everything I put on YouTube, I think.
Correct.
However, that was what I discovered as I was poking around and figuring out what was going on. What I think may have reduced my hits back in February was that YouTube apparently stopped people from being able to automatically upload links to their videos on Twitter.
What does that mean, to automatically upload links?
So I had Twitter, and this is what was so awesome about Twitter. For 10 years, they loyally took every Ridley-O that I uploaded, and they posted automatically a link on my Twitter channel to that video. I never had to log into Twitter, much of anything, and they would just automatically posted 3,600, or however many videos it was, 3,600 links, I guess, to my videos. And even though I only have about 800 Twitter followers, that may have been the reason why I took that cut in hits. And they did it. YouTube did it to everyone that was using Twitter YouTube linkage.
So you're saying YouTube broke the linkage between Twitter and YouTube to stop people from linking to YouTube videos? That seems crazy.
Well, they stopped tweeting out YouTube videos automatically when they were uploading.
Was it just to clarify, was it a YouTube feature that allowed this, or was it a Twitter feature that monitored your YouTube channel and auto-tweeted new videos?
I don't know how it worked exactly, but YouTube, I think, was the one that cut it off as part of their campaign to alienate more and more people.
It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, why would they want to do that? I mean, presumably they would want people to post links to their videos to drive traffic to YouTube. So, I mean, what is your speculation as to why they would do that?
Well, it's not my speculation, but the article I read was speculating that YouTube may think that the traffic will be better to YouTube if people post the YouTube links manually with some sort of comment.
Oh, well, I'm sure that's true. It's definitely true. If you comment on something, people are more likely to take an interest in it. I will say this.
They could have solved that problem by just adding a Twitter comment blank to the upload screen so they could just, if they want to comment on your Twitter, put one there.
Well, okay, so the good news is that there is a workaround, Dave, and I would recommend you check out ifttt.com. It stands for If This Then That. And on that site, it allows you to take various different sites like Twitter and YouTube and link them together without their knowledge, basically. IFTTT can monitor things like a YouTube channel, a Twitch channel, your Twitter, all these things, or your blog posts or whatever, an RSS feed. And basically you say, if this, so in this case, you would be creating one, if this being YouTube channel, new video. If there's a new video on the Ridley Report YouTube channel, then that. And then you give it the that command where you say, okay, well, then that means I want you to post to Twitter. And you can have it do more than one thing, too. You could have it post to Mastodon. You could have it post to your Facebook, although Facebook also is one of those companies that keeps trying to break the linkage. So Facebook has, for instance, broken how their system works or changed how their system works to where IFTTT then has to figure out the new code, and they've got to rewrite everything and make it so it starts working again. But for the most part, IFTTT does a really good job of this, and it can be even anything so far as like triggering on emails and sending emails. Like they've got dozens of different options in there. It's an amazing site. Obviously, if they go down and go out of business, it's going to be a problem. But for now, they're pretty useful.
Yeah, I love.
Hey, Rich.
What?
Rich, by the way, I was about to change the subject. It's a rich subject, but go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say thank you for running for governor. I called the Manchester Talk Radio show yesterday to tell them about your run for governor.
Oh, which talk radio show?
Oh, I called WMNH in Manchester.
Okay, fantastic.
Nice. Well, thanks so much for doing that. That makes, having that kind of thing happen makes a huge difference.
Had they heard about it already when you called?
They were not familiar with that or with the mayoral run.
Ah, okay. Because it did get some coverage in the Union Leader, which is the Manchester newspaper. They not only announced your mayoral run, Nobody, because you called him Rich, Dave, but as you know, he's changed his name to Nobody. They announced the mayoral campaign. They also, just this week, had an article about you running for governor. And
nice.
I did check the newspaper on that day, and I couldn't find it in print, but it definitely ran online, and it was on the front. It was viewable from the front page. You had to scroll down a ways, so it wasn't the top story or anything like that, but they definitely ran it. And they endorsed you for mayor. So
that was pretty incredible.
Yeah, so they haven't endorsed him for governor yet, but it's pretty early. At this point, the gubernatorial candidates in New Hampshire can only verbally declare. They cannot actually go and file with the state, not until June, I think, of this.
I think it's so far. It's what Sununu for re-election. Tom Feltz or
Who's
Feltes.
That?
What? He's a Democrat.
Oh no, you're thinking of the Democrat. Dan, I think is his name. Dan Feltes.
Dan Feltes. Yeah. Excuse me.
But yeah, the Wikipedia article only shows 2 declared candidates for the Republican side, and that's the incumbent and you, Nobody.
Yay!
So, hey, Dave, thanks for the call tonight. Appreciate hearing from you. You can go to RidleyReport.com. You can check out more of his work there. And our toll-free number for you, if you want to bring up whatever's on your mind, is 855-450, free like freedom. Coming up, we'll get into the Tulsi Gabbard story, Vincent, that you wanted to share, where she's calling out Hillary Clinton. And in the same way, you're going to be calling out the current governor, Nobody, of New Hampshire for being bad on certain issues like cannabis, for instance.
Well, he's mixed on cannabis.
True, he did do decrim.
He did some of the right thing, but it's not enough.
Indeed. And so we got more on the way here. Hour number 3 is coming up. You can take control of the airwaves. Our number, 855-450, free like freedom. This is Free Talk Live.
Balance of Nature, changing the world one life at a time. Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. I don't take any supplementation, but I take Balance of Nature because I've seen it in my lab and I know that it works. I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection. And that, to me, as a scientist, rings so true, and it's only natural.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. Call or go online now and become a preferred customer, which gives you our best pricing and free shipping. And we'll take off an additional $25 on your first order. This will be a limited time offer, so don't wait. Call 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code FTL.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealestate.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,493, silver at $17.56, and Bitcoin is trading around $8,090. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, just one day after a Texas sheriff caused an outcry after referring to undocumented immigrant offenders as drunks at a White House press conference, his own son was arrested on charges of public drunkenness and indecent exposure. 24-year-old Sergey Wayborn faced the charges just after Tarrant County Sheriff Bill Wayborn caused an uproar with his blanket characterization of undocumented immigrants as persistent lawbreakers. Last Thursday, the sheriff criticized a California court ruling that banned the use of unreliable databases by Immigration and Customs Enforcement to detain immigrants held by local authorities who may have been eligible for deportation, according to a report from the Dallas Morning News. Sheriff Wayborn's son was arrested the very next day near the AT&T Stadium in Texas after exposing his genitals to passing motorists, according to the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. Unlike the vast majority of undocumented immigrants, the son also has a long rap sheet in the region. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. California has become the third state to bar most animals from circus performances under a new bill signed last weekend by Governor Gavin Newsom. A separate bill signed by the governor is the first of its kind in the nation, banning the sale and manufacture of new fur products. The law, which will kick into effect in 2023, follows Newsom's signing of legislation that outlaws fur trapping. The Mind Unleashed reports that in December, New Jersey and Hawaii both became the first states in the U.S. to issue legislation banning the use of circus animals, which campaigners have denounced as a form of animal cruelty. The new measures ban all wild animal species, including elephants, bears, tigers, lions, and primates, from circuses and traveling shows. The law will exempt domesticated dogs, cats, and horses, and does not apply to rodeos. In August of 2016, Florida police officer Lee Cole gunned down 73-year-old Mary Knowlton in front of dozens of stunned onlookers during a demonstration about police use of deadly force. More than 6 months passed while law enforcement conducted their investigation, and it was announced in 2017 that Cole was being charged. However, thanks to what the Free Thought Project calls a corrupt system, the cop will not be going to jail. In a landmark move, Punta Gorda Police Chief Tom Lewis, who adamantly defended his deadly negligent officer, was also charged. However, he was acquitted of his charge of culpable negligence earlier this year. Cole was charged with manslaughter, a first-degree felony, and took a plea deal this week. Wink News reports that as part of the deal, Cole, whose case was moved to Lee County, will plead no contest to second-degree manslaughter and receive 10 years probation and not serve any prison time in the death of Knowlton. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Japan grants suffrage to female robots, and a hypochondriac maple tree is always convinced it has Asian longhorn beetles. The following two statements are true. The previous statement is false, and this is the Onion Week in Review. This week, Americans nationwide were stunned to hear horrific allegations on Wall Street revealing that numerous junior bankers have been forced to survive on a mere $6,800 per week. The findings, which implicate numerous high-profile financial institutions such as Bank of America, Morgan Stanley, and Citibank, suggest that hundreds of first-year bankers are constantly deprived of basic necessities, including penthouse apartments overlooking Central Park and regular company-financed vacations to the French Riviera.
Many of these bankers are 23 or 24 years old and don't even have access to an expense account of over $50,000 a year. Not only that, but some of them are making as little as 20 times minimum wage. I mean, this is truly disgraceful.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live, and we're launching into the third hour of the program. As always, you're invited to join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. And here with you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
Nobody.
And Vincent.
Coming up, Vincent, you've got the story about Tulsi Gabbard, who is one of these candidates that's actually saying some interesting things from time to time. Most of the Democrats are particularly uninteresting and pretty standard stuff. But Tulsi is not afraid to speak some truth to power. And in this case, she's targeted Hillary Clinton. And I guess it was after Hillary Clinton targeted her, as I understand it. We'll get into all that coming up here. And, of course, your calls and thoughts are certainly welcome. Plus, if we get a chance, it looks like cannabis may be legalized soon in Mexico. And that's a big deal. We can talk about that. Plus, in relation to that, the Canadian cannabis legalization that happened about a year ago. So they're celebrating a year of legal cannabis up there. Let's go first, though, to David. He's in New Mexico to start things out this hour. Go ahead, David.
Yeah, another fun piece of the puzzle on government tactics on this case, this KUNM radio station University of New Mexico radio station.
This is the radio station that has banned you from calling and then pursued you with criminal charges after you continue to call.
Yeah, and worse than that, if you remember that this was already adjudicated. There are 3 separate court cases, and this was already adjudicated in one of the 3 court cases, and there was an agreement. There was a pre-adjudication agreement, they call it, that they'll just dismiss it, the one of the 3 charges, if and at the time it was the only charge, if I just simply didn't call the radio station until December of this year, which I already hadn't been doing for 2 years on my own. If I wouldn't call them until December, then they would just dismiss it. And then, so I didn't. But I did continue to call another radio station, a radio program on the same station called Singing Wire, and where I do that shout out every Sunday for the last 10 years. I've done it to my kids. And the Elaine Baumgartel, the program director or the news director at KUNM, along with Stephen Emmons, the program director, they call the cops on me when I call the Singing Wire program. They call what they do is they have the Singing Wire staff monitor, write down when I call, and then notify Elaine Baumgartel and...
See, I would have just banned you for being boring. I mean, calling about the same thing every single week at the same time. I mean, nobody wants to hear that.
Well, let's ask him. Nobody. Do you want to hear that?
Hello?
You're right here.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Do you know what Singing Wire is? It's an Indian program, Native American music. And part of their program is they do shout outs. That's what the program exists for.
Okay.
And so since my government trafficked my children illegally out of my life, which I did prove at the Court of Appeals, since they did that, one of the things I do is I say, hey, David Olson Jr., hey, Paisley Olson, I love you. I'm your dad. I'm still out here, as a shout out. Okay, so that's what I do. And
you're
it's
saying
also
they
part
welcome that sort of thing. You're saying that's something that purportedly they want to have happen.
Yeah, it's not only what they purport to have happen. They solicit it. They say, call in now with your shout outs.
But then
is there a spiritual aspect to this program?
Yes,
I would try and make a First Amendment argument.
Well, I mean, his argument is that this is a government station. The station that he's calling is a college radio station.
Oh,
so it is a First Amendment argument.
That may change everything.
Yeah. So what's the update on this case?
Well, the update is that when I would call into the program that we just talked about, the people that are trying to shut me down, the Baumgartel, the Emmons, what they do is they ask the Indians, hey, did David Olson call in this weekend? Oh, he did. Good. You wrote it down, right? Okay, now let's call the transsexual cop over at the University Police Department and have him write him up on some more charges, which they've done 2 more times for calling the program. Like I said, this program that I call into was approved by the judge and by the district attorney that, hey, it's cool. You can still call in to the Indian program like you've been doing for a decade. That's cool. But when I do, then the Baumgartel and the Emmons call the transsexual cop, and the transsexual cop comes over and writes up new stalking and telephone harassment charges. And so it's pretty funny.
How many charges are you facing now for this?
There's 3 of them, and you can see them on nmcourts.gov in their case lookup. Just look up Olson, Olson, David.
Well, let us know how it goes, David. Thank you for the call tonight. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Tulsi Gabbard, Vincent, she's getting into it with Hillary Clinton. And now, to some extent, it is important when you're a smaller-time person to attack the king of the hill, right? If you can get the king of the hill to pay attention to you, if you can get the king of the hill to defend against you, to attack you back, that's usually a good thing.
I'd have no idea about that.
No? Okay, well, it's generally true, right? Like normally, if you're on the king of the hill, if you're the king of the hill, you want to ignore the little guys. You want to ignore them.
The interesting thing is you're still looking at Hillary as the king of the hill, and she hasn't even declared.
That's true.
Well,
this time around, although I've been expecting it.
I'm only saying that because she's got a much bigger name.
She does have a bigger name.
They either ignore you or they passive aggressively report your YouTube video criticizing them for hate speech, and then get your channel a strike. But I wouldn't know anything about that. So this is from FoxNews.com. I'm referring to the fat man Alex Jones, by the way. Hawaii Congresswoman and Democratic presidential candidate Tulsi Gabbard dared Hillary Clinton not to, quote, hide behind your proxies and, quote, join the race directly after Clinton accused her of being a Russian asset specifically groomed to run as a third-party candidate in 2020. So her tweet goes, great, thank you, at Hillary Clinton. You, the queen of warmongers, embodiment of corruption and personification of the rot that has sickened the Democratic Party for so long, have finally come out from behind the curtain, Gabbard wrote in a scathing 3-part tweet on Friday afternoon. She continues, from the day I announced my candidacy, there has been a concerted campaign to destroy my reputation. And I'll say she's been, she's not been taking this lying down, Tulsi Gabbard. During the debate, she called out CNN and the New York Times, the people who were hosting the debate for, I believe,
for what?
For calling her a Russian asset.
Wow.
Yeah, so she's just straight out called him out. I mean, that was good. I have a lot of respect for her. She's not in political NPC like many of the other ones are.
So CNN and New York Times are taking their talking points from Hillary Clinton, basically. Hillary's calling her
Well, they're all taking their talking points from the same place.
Yeah, the Democratic Party or the progressive leftists or whoever.
I mean, Fox News gets the same talking points. It's just
from Rupert Murdoch.
They tell
and
them
News Corp.
reverse it and make it sound stupid.
So, okay, so she continues... From the day I announced my candidacy, there has been a concerted campaign to destroy my reputation. We wondered who is behind it and why. Now we know. It was always you, through your proxies and powerful allies in the corporate media and war machine, afraid of a threat I pose. It's now clear that this primary is between you and me.
Damn.
Don't cowardly hide behind your proxies. Join the race directly.
What would that actually be if it was proper? Cowardly?
Gabbard has faced criticism from several of her Democratic opponents who have accused her of being a, quote, puppet for the Russian government. The former Army National Guard major who served in Iraq.
Do they have any evidence for this accusation?
The evidence they have is that she does not agree with everything they say. She's like, her campaign isn't based...
If you're not with us, you're with the Russians?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean,
she did say that she liked... that it wasn't bad for Trump to pull out of
she's a
move the troops in Syria.
She's a non-interventionist, which makes them call her a puppet for Assad. I mean, it's like her campaign is so much more of an orange man bad.
My God, she can actually make a statement about Trump objectively.
Exactly.
I mean, she's someone I'd vote for if she was the front
She's
runner.
the Democrat I'd vote for first.
The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. You can join us, share your thoughts on Tulsi and Clinton or whatever. It's Free Talk Live.
Business owners. You want more customers? Accept cryptocurrencies. There's people all around you just waiting to spend money at your store. If only you would take it. I know, you've been waiting till someone else makes it easy. Well, good news. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com adds Bitcoin to your point of sale. Totally free. Use the same equipment you already have, now with Bitcoin. And unlike credit cards, there's no fees. Let the guys at HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com bring new customers to your store. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com.
Warning, this is a privacy alert. You are being spied on right now as I speak by your phone. If you want this to stop, visit GoDarkBags.com and we'll show you how elite military units protect themselves and how you can too. Go Dark Bags are lab tested and guaranteed for life. Visit GoDarkBags.com now and enter discount code FTL to save 15%. That's GoDarkBags.com. Discount code FTL. Your privacy depends on it. End transmission.
Anarchapulco is the world's foremost conference for voluntarists, thinkers, and activists, held in beautiful Acapulco, Mexico. Share ideas on how to live free and escape the clutches of the state. Their unparalleled lineup of speakers will discuss entrepreneurship, investments, politics, philosophy, health, sustainability, lifestyles, and personal relationships. Stay in a world-class resort and enjoy the sun and beaches. February the 13th through the 16th, visit Anarchapulco.com for early bird pricing and 10% off with coupon code FTL.
Do you want to
to join the ultra-wealthy by using a 160-year-old investing program that is no longer exclusive? Keep your funds fluid and 100% tax-free for you or your heirs with no contribution limits and without ever losing your principal with Fortune DNA. Learn how to avoid the volatility of the market and put certainty back into your investing future. Join us at dna.freetalklive.com for more details and your exclusive invitation to the free webinar on Tuesday at 8 p.m. Register now at dna.freetalklive.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. The LRN.FM's social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Are you tired of governments around the world killing innocent people? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin is money that cannot be inflated or controlled by any state. By continuing to use their money, you're perpetuating the killing. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available to you now. Learn it, use it, spread it.
Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. It's bitcoin.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can join us here. The toll-free number for you to take control of the airwaves. Bring up anything that's on your mind. It's 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Joining you tonight, it's Ian.
Nobody.
And Vincent.
Local.bitcoin.com is a newer site. It started earlier this summer. It's been around for a few months now, and it is a global trading platform that actually allows you to buy and sell Bitcoin Cash with dozens of payment methods. And most importantly, there's no identification requirements to sign up for and use the website. In fact, beyond that, all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. So you finally have a global trading platform that actually cares about your privacy, and that's because at no point does local.bitcoin.com actually have custody of your funds. So you have control over your funds when you're on local.bitcoin.com. It's a very, very cool site. Get over there and check it out. It's local.bitcoin.com. We've been talking about Tulsi Gabbard calling out Hillary Clinton after apparently Hillary Clinton targeted her, calling her a Russian agent, basically. Gabbard struck back.
Now, this is the woman who went to the Russians and to get them to fabricate the dossier against Trump.
Oh, well, it
Remember
wasn't
that dossier?
The bought and paid for dirty Russian collusion dossier, as Sean Hannity would call it. It wasn't. She didn't go directly to the Russians. What happened was
she went through intermediaries. That's what she does.
She went to Fusion GPS, who I believe hired Christopher Steele, who was like a former British spy, who then got the dirty dossier that he admitted that was unverifiable, and then that's why we have this whole impeachment craze right now, the giant impeachment distraction. But yeah, I mean, what was it? Hillary Clinton, she's been accused of the whole Uranium One scandal, and like, Robert Mueller, it was something he was like, he met on a tarmac, and like somehow like a certain company that had access to like 20% of the United States' strategic uranium supplies was given to the Russians or something. I mean, yeah, Hillary Clinton is like she's like a criminal mastermind. She's like an Inspector Gadget villain. So we
if she was a mastermind, she would have won.
We go to Olivia in Arizona, and I know you got a little bit more on this, Vincent, but Olivia, you're on Free Talk Live, watching on YouTube.
Hey, Ian.
Hey
Hey,
there.
nobody. And hey, Vincent.
Hey, what's on your mind?
Well, recently I went to Louisiana, and I'm sure you probably already know about Louisiana and their law enforcement. But
It's one of the
they
most
have-
oppressive of all the states as far as arresting its own population.
Exactly, and you have no idea. So I was in the backwoods. I was actually passed through the area around the Bayou Teche, which is like Arnaville and little places like that. And you have no idea how many cop cars. There were dozens. Just a short drive through this nothing tiny agricultural town.
Wow.
And we stayed in like a hotel in a place called I forgot where it was called. Bro was part of the name. Bro Bridge, sorry. And they like a cop came in and ate breakfast for free in the hotel, and it opened up. Yeah, I know. I was like, I'm out of here.
I slop the pigs.
But
I'm getting paid.
Exactly. It opened up a discussion though with a family member who is from a different state, and they have they're friends with a cop who they like. So they were like, "Oh, this is so wonderful. Every place should do that." And I'm like, "Have you? This is a nothing town. It's like a really religious town. Everyone's Catholic. You see the little Mary statues everywhere. Nothing town, and there's dozens of cops. Why do you think that is? It's not that they're putting out crimes." And then it opened up the discussion that the police aren't there to protect you. They have no duty to protect. And I mean, it just snowballed from there where basically the argument was, well, you can't trust people. And
So trust the police because they're not people? Is that what they're saying?
Exactly, right?
You can't
Right,
trust
you
the
can't have
people, trust
prostitution 'cause
hoes.
they're going to spread diseases. I mean, it went from everything we've got to legislate morality because if we don't, God will smite us, to I mean, it was kind of it was
Oh
an
boy,
insane
those are
trip,
some
but-
frustrating times, having to talk to family about those issues and having them, not care about freedom
Well,
at all.
I can certainly remember a number of times that I've ignored the Christian rules on sexual morality and ended up smitten. So,
But I did want to bring up one last part
Sure.
of that. So basically it melted down to, well, if you don't like it, you can leave. I was like, no, you leave. And then it was like, well, then vote in better people. And so that brought up the discussion of, well, okay, but when you do that, when you try to vote in better people, either you've never heard of them or they get basically blacklisted, like Tulsi Gabbard. They make this big branding campaign to smear them, even though it's ridiculous. Or they use one of the many, many laws that they can use to throw them in jail somehow. I remember I was actually over the weekend, I was reading Free Keene, and you had mentioned a politician named Michael Sylvia who was just living on his property, and I looked him up. He's supposed to try to go to court this October. I don't know how that's going to go.
Yeah, that's right.
We'll be there.
We're intending to go and record video of that. In fact, I do need to check with Mike about that and make sure the date is still what we think it's going to be. 'Cause sometimes they delay these things, and he might not have remembered to let us know. So I'll double check that, and we will definitely talk more about what happened to him. But yeah, the short version is he was just allegedly living in an RV on his property or in the garage on his property, and in the town in I think it's called Belmont, New Hampshire, just a crappy little town. They came after him. They sent the town selectmen, so basically the city council, sent the code enforcement officer specifically to investigate Mike. And he staked out his house during the wintertime and noticed that there were tracks that led from the RV to the garage, noticed that there was smoke coming out of a smokestack on the garage, and wrote up a report about how he believed that was evidence that Mike was living in the RV and or the garage, and either of those things is illegal. Of course, the house itself doesn't actually exist because the house burned down on the property before Mike purchased it. So the previous owner's home burned down, which left just the garage on the property. So Mike got a pretty good deal on the property, obviously, considering there was no house there. And as he's renovating or whatever it is he's doing, he's probably wanted to live there. Now, I'm not saying he did or did not. I'm not testifying about that sort of thing. But it's going to be a really interesting trial because Mike Sylvia not only is a state representative, but he's also a longtime Free Talk Live listener and a supporter, somebody who is one of those guys that has done a lot of research on courts and courtrooms and how to go to trial, and I think it's going to be really interesting to watch that. So we'll definitely keep you in the loop about that. Olivia, anything else you want to share tonight?
Awesome. Yeah, I feel like they targeted him because he's one of the freer politicians. I think he won an award for respecting people's rights. And so
actually, he won the I think it was last year, or maybe it was last year. He won the New Hampshire Liberty Alliance award that they give to one state representative or state senator. They only give one of these out. The Liberty. What is it called? It's like basically the Liberty Legislator of the Year. I think that's what it is. Like whoever it is that's the most consistent voting in favor of liberty every issue, every time, more so than anyone else. And they gave it to Mike Sylvia because, well, he deserved it. Hey, thanks for the call tonight, Olivia. I appreciate it. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. Tulsi versus Clinton. Tulsi says, get in the ring. Stop being such a wuss. Stop talking through your intermediaries and come at me, bro, basically.
I've been predicting a Hillary Clinton run.
Well, we'll find out more about it coming up here in a moment. I think you got a little bit more to share, Vincent, and your calls and thoughts are welcome here on Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. I want to tell you about my favorite cryptocurrency wallet, Edge Wallet, at edge.app. Edge is the wallet I use more than any other, and that was true long before Edge Wallet became a sponsor of Free Talk Live. Edge Wallet allows you to buy, sell, trade, and securely hold your cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, tokens, Monero, Ripple, Dash, Bitcoin Cash, and more. It's available for both Android and iOS, and you can download it via the Play or App Store or via Edge Wallet's website, edge.app. Secure your freedom with Edge Wallet. Have you heard of LibertyCon? LibertyCon is not only a convention with great speakers like Whole Foods CEO and co-founder John Mackey and Nobel Prize winner Vernon Smith, but it's also unique because you get a chance to network with more than 70 pro-liberty organizations, one-on-one for the purpose of career advancement, business, and internship opportunities. April 3rd through 5th in Washington, D.C. You can learn more by visiting LibertyCon.com and use code FTL for a $10 discount on your registration. That's LibertyCon.com.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial in, toll free, bring up whatever you want. Our number, 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. And I want to say thanks to Edge Wallet for being a sponsor here on Free Talk Live. I'm a big fan of Edge Wallet, and it's not because they're sponsoring the show. I was using Edge Wallet as my primary wallet long before they started sponsoring Free Talk Live, so it was just a nice bonus that they actually started sponsoring us, which I think is great. Edge is a great wallet. It's available for both iOS and Android devices. You can buy, sell, trade, and securely hold various different cryptocurrencies, including Stellar, Ripple, Monero, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, Dash, Bitcoin, and Ravencoin as well. A bunch more as well. I'm not going through the whole list. Go to edge.app and learn more about Edge Wallet. You can also, as I said, download it for iOS and Android devices. As we continue here talking about Tulsi Gabbard, Vincent, you had a story about how she and Hillary are now apparently squaring off, although Hillary hiding behind her
Proxies,
people.
yes.
Beauty versus the Beast.
So it continues here after Tulsi just like outright calls her out on Twitter.
This is after Clinton alleged that that Tulsi was a Russian agent.
Yeah, and they give a context behind that at the end of the article. For whatever reason, they wait for the end of the article. But so
and what's the source? CNN,
Fox News.
Fox. Okay.
Clinton spokesman Nick Merle responded to Gabbard with a cheeky remark. I wonder if this was written by a British person.
Should we just call him a tool instead of a spokesman?
Quote, Assad day for your candidacy. A reference to
Assad or Assad?
Assad, as in Bashar al-Assad,
that's
Syrian
Yeah,
president.
trying to do a play on Assad.
I didn't even get it. Good. Thank you, nobody. A reference to Gabbard's...
He's French.
A reference to Gabbard's controversial meeting with the Syrian dictator Bashar al-Assad. He was elected. I mean, whether or not... Syria is not the perfect place. It's not the perfect government, but I mean, it's like people are, minorities are protected there, and like the Syrian people do like Assad a lot. So it's just, every time they call it a dictator. I mean, Trump and Obama and Bush and Clinton all behave like dictators too. So I mean, you could
call all of them dictators or none of them.
Yeah. So anyways, he's referring to a meeting, right? So she just met with the guy, Assad, and then now they're saying she's an agent. Clinton has recently been courting the spotlight to promote a book I'm gonna add quotes, co-authored by her daughter Chelsea. Although she didn't name Gabbard specifically, Clinton told a one-time aide to President Barack Obama, David Plouffe, host of a podcast called Campaign HQ, that she thought Trump and the Russians have, quote, got their eye on somebody who is currently in the Democratic primary and are grooming her to be the third-party candidate.
Oh, really?
And so Clinton's words here, they quote, she's the favorite of the Russians. They have a bunch of sites and bots and other ways of supporting her so far, Clinton said, seemingly alluding to Gabbard. Clinton also
obviously the Russians aren't very good at what they're doing, right? Because if they actually were effective at all this purported advertising they've been doing and the propagandizing, then Tulsi Gabbard would be doing much better in the polls. I suspect she's not doing that well.
Oh, absolutely. And
she's doing a lot. She's doing a lot better than you'd expect.
Okay.
I think.
Well, I mean, and Clinton would have been the choice for the Russians because they have her totally. They most likely have dirt on her with the whole Uranium One scandal. She sold her soul to the highest bidder, sells out the country when she was the Secretary of State. Compared to Trump, where his because Russia's economy depends on energy exports and natural gas, and Trump is big on the U.S. at being the number one exporter of energy and such. So, anyways, it ends on Clinton also singled out former 2016 Democratic candidate Jill Stein Stein, accusing her of being a Russian asset. Although, I don't know if Jill Stein was ever a Democratic candidate. I knew she was the Green Party.
She was Green Party the last couple times around. According to RealClearPolitics.com, one of the most recent Democratic primary polls, it appears as though Gabbard is pretty far down the list here. Biden at 29.2%, Warren 23%, Sanders 15%, Buttigieg 5.8, Harris 5.4, O'Rourke 2.6, Yang 2.2, Klobuchar, never heard of that one, 2.0.
She was at
Booker,
Keene State on Wednesday.
1.6, Steyer 1.6, and then Gabbard at 1.2. The only two lower than her are Bennett and Castro. Apparently Castro.
Oh, Julian Castro.
Is in the race.
My God. Yeah, and Biden.
Castro actually made an interesting statement, which is his problem with the gun ban was all the police brutality that would result from it.
Okay.
Which I thought was
Zing.
was interesting. That's first, a step on the way to actually doing the math and realizing that literally millions of people will die if they try to confiscate these guns.
And Biden is only up there just because of name recognition. Like I mean, and I feel sad for him. It's like if you're at a family reunion and your one of your grandparents has like dementia or Alzheimer's, but no one wants to acknowledge it, and they try and plug a fork into an outlet or something. That's what Biden is. He what was it? I remember the biggest gaffe that he did at the debate was he was talking about he said he's like I'm paraphrasing here. He's like I want to support the everyday regular people who are cutting coupons for the stock market.
They have coupons?
No, he's just out of it.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, and he was like, so it was a word salad. He was jumbling his words, and I mean, like, I think that reflects very poorly on the Democratic voter if he's
number one.
Yeah, if he's number one. I mean, Bernie Sanders had a heart attack a few weeks ago, and he was more coherent than Biden.
Wow. Are we done with this story about Tulsi?
Yes.
If you want to weigh in, you're welcome to join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733.
I want to send her a copy of like Man, Economy, and State or something.
Yeah, but how can you guarantee she'll read it?
Oh, I can't.
Yeah. So there is some interesting news coming out of Mexico. I wanted to share this tonight, especially with you here, Nobody, as a longtime cannabis activist. MarketRealist.com reporting that they are fast approaching an October 23rd marijuana legalization deadline. On October 10th, Senator Julio Ramon Menchaca Salazar reiterated the deadline and the special joint meeting of the Mexican Senate's Parliamentary Commissions of Justice, Health, and Legislative Study, according to Marijuana Business Daily. The senator has also promised to present the bill's final draft by yesterday. This timeline sets Mexico to become the third country to legalize recreational marijuana after Canada and Uruguay. Of course, Uruguay was first, then Canada last year, right around this time.
Well, I'd say Canada legalized corporate marijuana.
What do you mean?
Well, because the primary beneficiaries of it aren't the people or cannabis smokers. It's the companies that the government allows them to. Like in Quebec, I think it's...
They're creating a cartel.
Exactly. Like you're only allowed to grow like
big marijuana
plants.
You mean personally grow food?
I believe in Quebec that's what it is, last I checked.
Okay. Well, look, the Canadian situation, I've got another story about that, but that's an entire mess that involves, in some provinces and territories, like I think it's Ontario province, the government actually is the exclusive distributor, so they don't even have private stores.
I believe Quebec as well.
Weed, that it's going to work great.
It didn't work at all. They, as you might have predicted, they actually sold out immediately on the first day. They completely misjudged what the demand was going to be, and ever since then, it's been an absolute debacle in Ontario. It's been terrible.
Can't even make money selling weed.
Nope, they can't. They actually have lost money, is from what I understand on it.
Could be worse. The U.S. government lost money running a whorehouse.
Which one was that?
Mustang Ranch.
That was the government's whorehouse?
Well, the guy lost it to the IRS, and the IRS tried to run it.
Did they
and
really?
they failed. They were selling. They were selling sex and booze, and they couldn't make a profit.
I just want to say, since we're on the topic of cannabis in Canada, the Canadian federal elections are coming up. There's a new party, the closest thing that Canada is going to get to a viable liberty-leaning party, the People's Party of Canada, and he's Maxime Bernier. He's the head of it, and he's been endorsed by Mark Emery.
His name
the
is
Prince of Pot.
Maxime?
Maxime.
Oh, okay.
So I found that interesting. That's what I'm going to be talking about on Questioning Authority tomorrow night. Actually, have a Canadian election. Very important elections coming up in Canada.
All right, 855 450 free. A little bit more about what's going on down south of the border with marijuana legalization possibly going to be a thing down there, which means the United States will be the only North American country without it.
Wow.
At the national level, at least. 855 450 free like freedom. You can join us here. Take control of the airwaves, even in the remaining moments, which are coming up. 855-450-3733. It's Free Talk Live.
Would you like to get back that full head of hair from years past? Now, there is Reveal. Beverly Hills celebrity dermatologist Dr. Nathan Newman took nearly a decade to develop Reveal from natural botanicals to return to a full-body head of hair. Reveal for men and women with a 30-day money-back guarantee at GCNlife.com or toll free 844-443-6637. 844-443-6637. Reveal at GCNlife.com.
Hey everyone, Proactive MD has an incredible offer for our radio listeners only. Stay tuned for our exclusive offer that includes a free charcoal pore cleansing brush and free shipping. Proactive MD with prescription strength adapalene can heal and prevent future breakouts. Today, for just $19.95, we're offering listeners the 3-piece Proactive MD system with free shipping, plus a free gift, the new charcoal pore cleansing brush. Get this exclusive offer by calling now, 1-800-583-8662, or go to proactive.com and enter promo code RADIO. You heard right, Proactive MD, plus free shipping and a free gift, the new charcoal pore cleansing brush. You'll get all this for just $19.95 and their 60-day money-back guarantee. You're guaranteed to get clear and stay clear, or you get your money back. Call now, 1-800-583-8662. That's 1-800-583-8662. Or go to proactive.com and enter promo code RADIO. Again, go to proactive.com and enter promo code RADIO.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Bring up whatever you want here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Also call in on our Discord on-air call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm, and that is where you will sound almost like you're sitting here in the studio with us. Don't forget, you can learn more about Nobody over at electnobody.com, a site that has been getting a lot of views over the last week or two. Probably the last week, ever since you had a viral meme. You didn't make it, but somebody made a meme about you. We don't know who actually it was. And they posted it on a Reddit channel or a Reddit subreddit that had over 1 million viewers, and it ended up topping that channel for some amount of time. You know how these things come and go, but for some amount of time, it was the number one
topping.
Yeah, most upvoted thing on that particular subreddit, and of course that ended up getting it seen elsewhere as well. So, and that's just with the mayoral campaign of yours, where nobody ran for mayor here in Keene, New Hampshire. Sadly, you didn't make it through the primary, but nobody really expected you to.
It's true.
Given the primary is an election that tends to attract the most politically active of voters, and those are least likely, in my opinion, to respond to an elect nobody campaign.
Right.
You want to
They've
get the
already
average
got
people out there.
a dog in the fight.
Exactly. And in this particular case, the two dogs that were in that fight have been fighting at each other's throats politically for the last basically year here in Keene. So,
I got one of Greenwald's campaign pamphlets, and he's attacking Hansel pretty hard.
I bet he is.
I'm surprised.
He's scared.
I'm surprised for a city council. He didn't like the fact that Hansel voted against some quote, anti resolution against racism or something. It's just like
there's not much he can criticize him on because they both vote for a lot of the same stuff. So
that was it. He said he never was the head of a committee. He criticized him for his age because Greenwald has like decades of experience. So that was it. I mean, I was surprised too. Not that Keene is a small town, but like
it is.
I don't know. It's
just a small town.
A small city. Quote city. Yeah. But I just did not expect that sort of viciousness, or
it's
maybe
a big
not
town,
viciousness,
small
but,
city. Anyway, without getting too deep into that, nobody did run for that, and nobody got about 2% of the vote. Without really putting any significant effort into any kind of election. I mean, we did get some signs, but we didn't really get too many of them placed, and I don't tend to believe signs do much anything anyway, but in one case, the sign definitely got this meme made because it was in the sign itself was half of the meme. One half was you smoking a joint, the classic joint smoking photo from the Concord protests that we've done over the years. Yeah. And then the other side was the sign that was sitting in the yard that was photographed by, in this case, the Boston Globe photographer. So all these different medias come together and they play off of one another. The Union Leader article that was written about you this week was actually written all about your interview on a Boston area rock station that you did the week prior to that. So had you not gotten the Boston media press, and it was more like Worcester, Boston, but anyway, had you not gotten that interview, you may not have gotten as good of a publicity in the Union Leader, and so a little bit of media can sometimes go much further than what you were expecting it to. So now that you're running for governor, and you've just announced that, who knows what that's going to blossom into.
Yeah, well, I've got sometime next week, I'm supposed to do a radio show in Manchester, so that will be good.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah, always good to get media in the state you're running in.
That's not going to conflict with the Mike Sylvia trial, right?
Well, I've got a pick of days, so let's find out when that is, and then I'll schedule.
We'll talk about that off the air. So check him out at electnobody.com. Vincent, plug your show.
Yes, Questioning Authority. It's on LRN.FM. It's on the Twitch. It's on the D-Live. It's Saturdays from 10 p.m. to midnight. You could find via archives at questioningauthority.libsyn.com.
Okay.
ShireFreeMedia.com, although I must update it. And yeah, tomorrow we're going to be talking about the Canadian elections. We're going to be talking about the I can't help myself, a right-wing grift machine, and going to be talking a very, very special audio regarding Trump's, what was supposed to be, according to some certain right-wing pundits, they're going to pull a Kennedy and assassinate Trump when he was in Dallas. A certain Texas media figure made a fool out of himself, and it's great audio, and it's going to be so
You mean Alex
great.
Jones?
Well, I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to give it away. It's going to be my first time back on the air in about like half a month, just because I've been getting over laryngitis. It's going to be an awesome show. All of you should open phones throughout the entire show. Anyone could call in. It's not on the FCC. Don't have to care about the FCC. It's going to be great, and I recommend everyone tune in.
So Mexico may be legalizing marijuana here within the next few months, it sounds like, according to MarketRealist.com. Now, honestly, I've not followed this situation in Mexico closely at all. I didn't even know. I mean, I knew that the president down there had talked about ratcheting back the war on drugs. So I'm glad to hear that there's some steps in the right direction.
And the first step was the Supreme Court found that smoking marijuana was a right.
That was a limited discovery that only applied to the plaintiffs in the case, so it wasn't something that applied to everyone in Mexico, but it certainly was a good ruling.
Well, that's true, I think, because their precedent system doesn't work the way ours does, I think. But one can make a reasonable prediction that other people similarly situated should probably get the same ruling.
I should hope so, but hopefully it won't even come to that because they may legalize it. According to Marijuana Business Daily, the Parliament's combined commissions have prioritized Olga Sanchez Cordero's proposal, which is also stated to undergo significant modifications. Now, while the debate over recreational marijuana continues, medical marijuana with THC content under 1%, which isn't much, has been legal in Mexico since June of 2017. Grandview Research expects Mexico's medical cannabis market to grow 27.7% compounded annually from $47 million last year to $249 million by 2025. And so then they go on talking a little bit about some of the companies down there that are working to capitalize on the opportunity. Legalizing recreational marijuana could bring several benefits, namely reducing black market activities associated with marijuana. Furthermore, legalization could open up avenues for tax-paying businesses to enter the segment, boosting the Mexican government's tax revenue. And Biz Latin Hub estimates marijuana legalization could fetch $1.2 billion in tax revenue for Mexico. And they're saying dollars here, so I'm presuming they're referring to U.S. dollars when they're giving these numbers.
Yeah,
and
Mexico uses pesos.
They have a Mexican dollar, but anyway, going on, and save up to $200 million in enforcement costs. But it is basically the pesos, as I understand it. Another estimate pegs the Mexican legal marijuana market's value at $12 billion by 2029. The industry is also set to promote ancillary activities that create employment in Mexico.
It's called the Mexican peso. That's what the currency is called.
Yes, indeed. But I've seen Mexican dollar elsewhere, so I'm not sure what that means when referred to.
Well, I mean, like currency in the United Kingdom, they call it pounds, but it could also be called British dollars. I mean, what is a dollar?
Right. So anyway, they say here, complete weed legalization may present problems for U.S. cannabis producers. According to Politico, North American marijuana growers could face stiff competition from Mexican cultivators. Well, they would if there were some reductions in the war on drugs in the area of cannabis in the United States nationally. It's still going to be illegal to import cannabis from Mexico. So even though it's legal to grow or maybe will be legal to grow cannabis in Mexico and sell cannabis in Mexico, it will still not be legal to send a truckload of it across the southern border.
Well, that's true, but it's a lot easier to make your run if what you're doing is legal
on
for the first
side.
1,000 miles.
Yeah.
So it would still increase. And there is competition from Mexican weed.
Sure,
coming
black
in
market
now.
weed.
Black market weed.
Yeah,
So-
I'm not saying there wouldn't be any, but if it were actually legal to sell across borders in the United States, then you'd see huge competition, not just between Mexico and U.S. producers, but between U.S. producers and U.S. producers, because right now growers and sellers in Oregon cannot sell in Washington.
Mm-hmm.
They cannot sell in California. And so what you end up having happen is, I think it was Oregon that had a surplus of marijuana.
And it ended up molding and having to be thrown away because they couldn't sell it.
Pointless. Whereas what they could have done is just rolled it across the border and sold it off at whatever prices they needed to make it move.
Well, hopefully they backdoored a lot of it to the black market, so that happened.
I suspect that they did. Obviously,
waste not, want not.
Yeah, they can't admit doing anything like that, but that is something that people definitely do. The story goes on to kind of get more into the business aspects of this, and I think it's cool that there's like all these businesses rising up in the area of cannabis. On the downside, however, they're all licensed. They're all begging government for permission to exist, and we're not going to have.
And more importantly, they're begging government to exclude others from competing with them.
Yep. So it is not a free market. It's not even close. But if fewer people are going to prison, then that's a good thing. That's really the only good thing I can say about it, besides the fact that it has reduced the prices overall. I think the competition that we do have. We'll see you tomorrow night. Online in the meantime, over at freetalklive.com.
Do you have a crypto wealth advisor or coach? If so, has your cryptocurrency advisor been investing in technology stocks for over 20 years? Have they left the corporate world and retired? Or are they still trying to make a weekly paycheck? Have they produced six-figure results for their customers in the past 30 days? And very importantly, are they a member of the Digital Currency Council? Seth Maniscalco is the founder of Crypto Wealth Coach and CryptoWealthCoach.com. Seth invested in his first Roth IRA at 19 years old while living abroad and has been investing in Wall Street and technology for over 20 years. With experience in all the money markets. By comparison, so many of these so-called crypto gurus have barely been alive for 20 years. Seth has not only experienced personal success from his own investments in crypto, he has also helped his clients earn 6- and 7-figure incomes, including helping investors make over $750,000 in EOS in 90 days and 1,225% in only 5.5 months with Chainlink. Seth has help for the small do-it-yourself guy on up to crypto whales. Increase your wealth. Visit CryptoWealthCoach.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
The latest episode of Questioning Authority is next after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,493, silver at $17.56, and Bitcoin is trading around $8,090. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, just one day after a Texas sheriff caused an outcry after referring to undocumented immigrant offenders as drunks at a White House press conference, his own son was arrested on charges of public drunkenness and indecent exposure. 24-year-old Sergey Wayborn faced the charges just after Tarrant County Sheriff Bill Wayborn caused an uproar with his blanket characterization of undocumented immigrants as persistent lawbreakers. Last Thursday, the sheriff criticized a California court ruling that banned the use of unreliable databases by Immigration and Customs Enforcement to detain immigrants held by local authorities who may have been eligible for deportation, according to a report from the Dallas Morning News. Sheriff Wayborn's son was arrested the very next day near the AT&T Stadium in Texas after exposing his genitals to passing motorists, according to the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. Unlike the vast majority of undocumented immigrants, the son also has a long rap sheet in the region. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. California has become the third state to bar most animals from circus performances under a new bill signed last weekend by Governor Gavin Newsom. A separate bill signed by the governor is the first of its kind in the nation, banning the sale and manufacture of new fur products. The law, which will kick into effect in 2023, follows Newsom's signing of legislation that outlaws fur trapping. The Mind Unleashed report said in December